men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Irish over to third. Mitchell to first, and that'll do it. Coastal Carolina punches its ticket back to Omaha.
This is no Cinderella. I want to make sure that's known. This is no Cinderella. Coastal Carolina, the past century, only 8 teams have been to the regionals more times than us. During that same time period, we've got the 6th best winning percentage, the 9th most wins. This is not a Cinderella story.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Okay, then.
This is not a Cinderella story.
Rusty had some fun with this. Hi, everyone. It's The Adam Gold Show.
You're back.
I am Adam Gold. That is Victoria. You're right.
Again.
You're 1 for 1 already. Good for you. Yes. I know people might have been wondering why I was out yesterday.
Yes.
I don't know if I got into the story, but my son is a goalkeeper, suffered an injury about a month or so ago, played through it, didn't hurt him anymore, so he just felt, I'm fine. Then he realized that he probably still had a problem with his finger. We got it checked out, and he had surgery on his hand yesterday, so under the influence and all of that and kind of loopy. Having not seen your 16-year-old in a state of not of sound mind, could not operate any heavy machinery.
Did you video it?
I did actually a little
Good.
bit. Not
you.
certainly not the procedure.
Oh,
but
no.
his loopiness,
Yeah.
where he said, "Ceiling is moving." I recorded that and sent it to his mother.
Those are the ones you're supposed to.
Yeah. So he's fine. He's recovering nicely, and so I'm back. We're all everybody's good, but he's not going to be able to face shots for like 2 months.
What is he going to do?
I'd rather not get into that. I'd rather not get into that. Yeah, he should be fine. Everybody, not that I don't know if anybody cared, but that's why I was out.
I'm glad that he's fine, because surgery's not fun at any time. So
not at all.
Yeah,
we were. It was pretty much a good chunk of the day yesterday was there. Whatever. There you go. We should play. Let's go. All right, a couple of things to start off with. Let's start with the fact that the NHL has decided against their NHL awards show that they had been doing each summer. I think a lot of times in Vegas, where they announce the winners of all the major awards. They've been rolling it out in a different way this year, which actually I think a very cool way of doing it, viral videos and all that. But anyway, they announced their Norris Trophy today. And not a surprise, because he was not one of the announced finalists. Jacob Slavin did not win. Cale Makar won from Colorado. Not a surprise. 30 goals, 92 points, I think, on the year. That's pretty insane for a defenseman.
Right.
Jacob Slavin finished 8th in the Norris Trophy voting.
Okay.
Which, on a lot of levels, I don't think it is a coincidence that 1, 2, and 3 finished first, second, and third among defensemen in scoring. It is so funny to me, especially the hockey media, which, far be it from me to criticize the hockey media, but they like to think that they understand the game on a deeper level.
Right.
Than those of us, and I do not consider myself hockey media, even though I do cover the Carolina Hurricanes. I look at hockey much like I look at basically every other sport. Do I know the nuances of the game? Nope. I couldn't tell you what system this team is using other than, hey, that, what Florida does, looks like that, what the Hurricanes do. I can tell you that, but I can't tell you subtle differences, and I've never purported to be able to do that. But here's what I do know. Just because you score a bunch of points don't make you a better defenseman than Jacob Slavin. Now, on the list, Zach Werenski had a great year. He finished second in the voting, second most offensive, scoring points among defensemen. I think Zach Werenski, absolutely, I would have, if I was ranking them, Makar, Werenski, clear. Two best defensemen in the league this year. After that, miss me with all your other guys. Miss me with your Quinn Hughes, who's a great player. Your Josh Morrissey. My God, get out of here with that.
Yeah.
Slavin was 8th in the voting. No first-place votes. Understandable. No second-place votes. Understandable. To me, those should have all gone. Well, Cale Makar should have gotten everybody's first-place vote, and I would have voted Zach Werenski too. But Slavin, for me, would have been 3. And this is where I go, well, I also don't watch all of the other defensemen in the league on a night-in, night-out basis, so I see the brilliance of Slavin on a day-in, day-out situation. But I'll just go this way. When you look at the list, if you look at the ranking among NHL defensemen, the only one of them that I would take over Slavin is Makar. You can have as great a year as Zach Werenski had, and he was awesome this year. I'd rather have Slavin. And I'd rather have him over Hughes and Morrissey and Hedman, mostly because of Hedman's age at this point. Victor Hedman, in his day, one of the greatest to ever do it. So I'm not knocking Victor Hedman, but, he's up there in age. I'll take Slavin over everybody ahead of him on that list, except for Makar. Sorry. At some point, we have to understand that these are defensemen.
Yeah, exactly.
So, my 2 cents. We have a podcast up. Jacob. Although, in the next version of the Canes Corner podcast,
yes,
we will start incorporating some of my exit interview one-on-ones. Slavin, Stahl, Aho were the 3 I did. And we'll put those up. So there will be a one-on-one with Jacob Slavin. We will not discuss the Norris Trophy. We'll discuss his thoughts on what Carolina needs, and that'll be probably the next one going forward, because we are very close, believe it or not. On June 11th today, we are 19 days away from free agency, people.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I wonder if Carolina's going to try and sign Eric Robinson between now and then. And if I were them, I think Robinson should be here this upcoming season. But I do think that Carolina is probably at this stage trying to figure out what they exactly want their roster to look like. And if does it make sense to sign Robinson now rather than, hey, we'll wait till July 1 and fit him in then. I don't know what they're going to do. I thought Robinson, I think he is a great fit for the way Carolina wants to play. Either way. So people are in their minds. By the way, Jacob Slavin was tied for 314th in the NHL in scoring this year.
Wow.
Tied for 314th. Yes.
Interesting fact.
Yeah, there you go. So I did a podcast with Eric Cole, and we talked about the way the season ended, the difference between Carolina and Florida, which on the ice seemed significant, right? We all understand that. Certain circumstances around that, but while there is a big difference in terms of Florida's overall level of player, and that's really what it comes down to. Carolina isn't far away. It's not like they need a massive overhaul to get to where Florida is. They need some things to happen internally, and then they do need to enhance what they've got. And here's the best way I would put it. And I've been saying this over and over again in the off seasons. Carolina's real area of improvement, the biggest area of improvement, will likely come from within. So putting it this way, I think we could all agree that there is more offensively for Sebastian Aho to give. Seth Jarvis will take another step offensively, hopefully, this upcoming season. Andrei Svechnikov, you can't be a sub 50-point scorer.
No.
So there's the biggest leap. The biggest area of improvement should be through Andrei Svechnikov. A full year with Logan Stankoven, right? That should enhance Carolina offensively. And then, there's a reason I didn't include Jackson Blake here, is because if I'm Carolina and I see somebody through the trade market that I can bring in to really help us take the next step, as much as I love Jackson Blake, I do think Blake could be a part of some sort of a deal. But if not, then Blake, yes, taking a more consistent step forward, becoming stronger, more. He's not going to be more fearless because he plays with zero fear.
Yeah.
But being able to not be knocked off the puck as easily as he was this year. So I think there is internal areas of improvement that Carolina can reach. With that said, the free agent class is meh for what Carolina really needs. Hey, Mitch Marner would be a great add, but I wouldn't add Mitch Marner and expect a whole lot different in the playoffs, because that's not what Mitch Marner is. Mitch Marner will give you points, but postseason points have not been his thing. And that's not to say he's still not a great player, because Marner plays exactly the way the Hurricanes want to play. He is a defensive-minded guy who happens to be able to create a lot of points. And that's good. But Carolina would need something with Marner, I think, to really make it work. And that gets to something that Eric and I did talk about a little bit, which was improving the center position. And there's not a ton of that in free agency. Sam Bennett is there, but really, do we think Florida's letting Sam Bennett walk?
No. And if he does, he'll be super expensive.
He will be, and that value likely would show itself to be worth it in the playoffs. But getting to the playoffs, Sam Bennett doesn't provide a ton. So you'll go through, you'll be sitting here, 4 months into the season, and Bennett's on 38 points, and you go, why exactly did we pay $9 million for him again? Forgetting that Bennett's value is in April, May, into June. Is that worth $9 million a year? Probably not. And therein lies the problem. I think he stays in Florida anyway. But Marner, Bennett, Brock Besser, good player. Nick Ehlers. I know the Hurricanes like him, but he's a lot like what they've got in terms of, he's not small, he's 6 foot, but he's a winger, more setup than scoring, although he is a good finisher, and he would be among the best finishers Carolina's got. John Tavares, I heard somebody put that in the chat, and I'm like, Tavares doesn't want to play the way we play. Mm-mm. He just doesn't. John at 35 or whatever he is, he ain't about working that hard. But Tavares is a big body and a great center, and who knows? Maybe he would be interested in doing that. In which case, I don't know what John Tavares would cost, but it might be worth just exploring. But again, I have my doubts. I think Carolina's more likely to maybe find some success looking at a defenseman, could Aaron Ekblad fit on Carolina's top defensive pairing?
Yeah, he would be one to go if they got rid of anyone.
Right?
They cut someone.
If Florida brings back Brad Marchand and they pay Sam Bennett,
yep,
it's hard for them to also pay Aaron Ekblad. You would probably be asking Ekblad to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
That of course is all if the Panthers want to bring back Brad Marchand. I don't know what they're going to do. Anyway, quickly running through names. Free agency is 19 days away. So I think, and I said this on the podcast, Carolina's way more apt to try to improve their team via the trade market than they are through free agency. I think you get much better value, and I think the contracts probably aren't as long. You're not locked in as long because you've already taken an existing contract. All right, moving on. Panthers Mini Camp started yesterday. Tomorrow we will chat with Darren Gant. We will ask the old guy things. But let's just start because quarterback's the most important thing. And Adam Thielen, wide receiver, sage whisperer, if you will, on Sirius yesterday talked about what he has seen from Bryce Young.
The confidence he came back with, same offense, same kind of play caller, quarterback coach, kind of that coaching staff that's around him, players around him that he has comfort with. You've just seen his maturity in the game of football in the NFL, personally and professionally, grow at such a high level that it makes it really fun to be around.
So at the end of last season, remember I kept talking about, I would sign Adam Thielen to an extension. He had one more year left in his contract, but I would sign him to an extension. Thielen doesn't look like that. I mean, he's never been a speed burner. He's fast enough. But the way Thielen is employed these days, or deployed, not employed, although I guess both work, he really operates more as a possession tight end than he does anything else. I mean, Thielen could play 2 or 3 more years without any significant drop-off of his skill. So I'm glad that they signed him to I think it was just a 1-year extension, and he wanted to be here because of the quarterback.
The way that he handled adversity, the way that he came back, and the way that he kind of took ownership of, this is what I need to do to help this team be successful, and I'm going to do it to the fullest of my ability. And for him to go out and do that week in and week out when he kind of came back and just continue to just exponentially grow and help this team is, again, that's a big reason why I'm coming back and excited to be here.
They could win the division. I don't think they're great.
No.
Right? I just want to say this straight up.
But the NFC South isn't great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the Panthers could possibly win 10 games. More likely it's 8 or 9, but you never know. And I think 10 wins will win the division outright. 9 wins gives you a chance. And I think the Panthers could be in that range. All right, Aaron Rodgers signed. I still don't, we talked about this with Brooke Pryor on Monday. I still don't get this fit. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, however, does.
I think it starts with Mike Tomlin. I mean, I've been a fan of his for a long time. There's a few iconic franchises in the NFL. I played for one of them for 18 years. This is another one of those. There's something special about, obviously, this area. So many great quarterbacks are from Pittsburgh. I feel like Pittsburgh has been a part of my career from the beginning. Playing for Mike McCarthy for 13 years, having Tommy Clements, depending on how old you are, as my quarterback coach forever. Don Capers, Kevin Green, Darren Perry, Ben McAdoo, Frank Signetti, Luke Getsy. I don't want to forget anybody, but a lot of Yinzers in my life.
Good for Aaron. The Jets aren't an iconic franchise?
Well.
Kidding. Look, I hope it works out because I also like Mike Tomlin. And while I'm not a Steelers fan, I am partial to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mostly because of the head coach, Mike Tomlin. And here's what he believes Rodgers adds.
I mean, read his resume. We're excited about him being here. He's excited about being here. But we'll make no bold predictions. We're just going to roll our sleeves up and go to work and let our efforts do the talking.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Did you see that Brooke answered yesterday one of the questions that was brought up when she was on here Monday about the wedding ring?
Oh, I heard.
Yes.
I heard that Brooke asked the question, right?
She did.
Yes. I did not listen to the he does admit that he's been married for a few months.
Yep. She asked the question, and he said, yeah, it's a wedding ring. And then someone else asked for how long, and he was like, a couple months. I thought, oh. But here's the real question. Is he married to a person or just himself? Because I feel like that's very Aaron Rodgers-y of him to have the twist in there.
It's a very good question.
So, I don't know. We still don't know if it's a person.
Would he get down on one knee to ask himself?
In the darkness.
over an ayahuasca.
Yes.
Well, it certainly is. Well, we don't even know who Mrs. Rogers is.
No.
Right?
No, other than Trip Tracy calling me Mrs. Rogers.
That's right.
And I am not married to Aaron Rodgers.
We don't know who Mrs. Rogers is. We're pretty sure it's not Danica Patrick.
Yes.
Right? And not Olivia Munn.
Right. Yes.
No clue. Those are the days, well, pre-Danica Patrick. The Olivia Munn days were the days we liked Aaron Rodgers, I think.
It was a while ago.
I think those were the salad days, if you will. All right, one more thing before we get out of here. Our friend Konata Edwards is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk about the NBA Finals, which resume tonight. Also, the Knicks firing of Tom Thibodeau, the head coach. And here's the way I've always thought. So I'll just throw this at you. When you fire your coach, especially one who has been fairly successful, you got to know you've got somebody better. So the Knicks have asked permission from 3 different teams to interview their head coaches and have been given the Heisman by all 3 teams. So, what you got now?
Right. Did Tom come back?
You just have to know you've got somebody that you can call that's better.
Oh, no.
Jay Wright, the Knicks have 3 great Villanova players who all played together and won national championships at Villanova. Jay Wright, who was the coach at the time, has already said, I'm a retired coach. I am not about that, even if that would be fun. I am a retired coach. That isn't to say that Jay Wright at one point might not want to get back in it, but he ain't getting back in it for the Knicks. Anyway, nice job, Knicks. Very Knicks-like.
Yes.
Gosh, I have friends who are Knicks fans, and I feel for them. I'm more of a Knicks sympathizer than I am a Knicks fan. Nothing that they do, good or bad, really makes... I mean, I grew up a Knicks fan, so I get it. I would be rooting for them if they made the finals or something like that, but I'm not necessarily a fan anymore. Yeah, so that they are a train wreck. All right, very quickly, I watched last night what amounted to, I would say, the C team of the United States men's national soccer team get punked by Switzerland. And when I say punked, it was non-competitive, and it was 4-0 Switzerland, and we had not yet played 36 minutes. It was egregious. It was so bad. Now, before people start, jumping off goalposts, none of this matters to next summer, to the World Cup. Because legitimately, in the starting 11 last night, and they were just coming off a loss, a 2-1 loss to Turkey over the weekend. But in the 4-0 loss last night, at best, there was one of the field players, one player who might challenge for a starting 11 spot. Johnny Cardoso plays at Real Betis in La Liga, the Spanish league, and may end up at Atletico Madrid, which is a top 4 side year in and year out in La Liga. And I thought he was, at best, meh. And I think you could say he was no good last night. But he's a good player. I know he's a good player. I've seen him play too much to think otherwise. But they didn't have anybody in their lineup that was going to really challenge for a starting 11 spot. So I ain't put off by that as in terms of looking ahead to the World Cup. But holy cow, there was no competitive fight from that group last night. And my biggest takeaway is that the United States used to have one thing. We could count on having an elite goalkeeper. And the Americans absolutely do not. Matt Turner ain't it anymore. It's debatable whether or not he was ever it, but he used to be better. Man, I think 3 of the 4 a better keeper gets. And if it's 1-0, you got a chance. It doesn't look as hopeless, even though 4-0 was reflective of how dominant Switzerland was. Anyway, that's my quick takeaway from Switzerland 4, USA 0 last night in Nashville. When we come back, Konata Edwards, Nada the Scribe, on the NBA Finals, the Knicks, coaching search, and more.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but it doesn't mean me and my co-host, WREL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp approaches, insights on the rookies, the free agents, and the surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book and the place for your NBA Finals enhancement, if you will. So, whether it's player props, live betting, no better place than FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. How about the Pacers being significantly plus money at home in Game 3? They are plus 190. Are the Pacers going to take over this series? Is Tyrese Halliburton going to do that? We'll find out. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. And new customers, $200 in bonus bets to you if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Struggling to get the sleep treatment you need? I'm Megan Giggling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. You shouldn't have to wait for better sleep. Our streamlined process provides for sleep studies, CPAP machines, and supplies, without the long delays you'll find at other sleep centers. At Parkway Sleep, we'll help you get good rest faster, and with the care you deserve.
With over 20 years of experience, join countless satisfied customers who have discovered the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep Sound health.
Down on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This is Adam Gold.
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. I'll be here the rest of the week. Don't have to worry about, we're done with surgery for now. As for the rest of the summer, we got to figure it out. I took off 4 days last week, and I felt like I was more tired after that than I was after the hockey season. But again, I had like 3 more weeks worth of hockey coverage in me. I was prepared for a long Eastern Conference Finals and a long Stanley Cup Finals. And who knows if we're going to have one of those. That'll be up to the Edmonton Oilers, who I believe were shorthanded 74 times. What, did Florida have like 11 power plays?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was ridiculous.
What's going on?
I know.
What are you people doing?
The whole last 6 minutes of it was just a...
Yeah, well, Edmonton lost their cool.
They did.
They'll, none of that matters tonight. We'll see what happens tonight. I'm sorry, not
Tomorrow.
tonight. Yes, because they're not playing hockey tonight.
Extended break.
They are.
Extra beach day.
Don't need it. But we are playing Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. My friend, Konata Edwards, at Not of the Scribe, CBSSports.com, joins us here on the Adam Gold Show. So, about the finals first, and then we are going to dissect the train wreck that is the New York Knicks front office. But the Game 2 was really kind of a cruise control win for Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. How much of that is what we're likely to see going forward, and how much of that is Indiana did what Indiana needed to do, which was win Game 1 in very Pacer-ish fashion, and now they can come home and take control of this series?
I think it's a little bit of both, honestly. Like, I look at this series and I can see another scenario where Oklahoma City dominates about 75% of this game, and then Indiana comes back in the fourth quarter and they steal another one. The issue with, and this is the thing that I do worry about with Indiana, is that they've been wearing these teams down with all this pace and all this offensive pressure. What do you do against a team that goes legitimately 10-11 deep?
Right.
You can't, that pressure eventually goes back on you because fatigue is a very, very real thing. So I expect a competitive game tonight, but would it surprise me if OKC is like, okay, we're done screwing around and wins the next 3? No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I thought going into this series, it's as much respect as I have for the Pacers. I saw this as a 5-game series. Then, of course, Oklahoma City went, and I shouldn't say they blew it because you can look at it both ways. The Pacers now believe that no deficit is too difficult for them to overcome. I mean, they proved it how many times in the series with the Knicks? Like, you can't have a big enough lead on that team. And let me go back to the Final Four when Duke and Houston played. Like, seriously, I think this is it's an indication.
Very similar.
You have to keep going. Like, forget about the clock. Play, and when you have a team, keep going at them and don't try to shorten the game. And I would advise Oklahoma City, don't look at the numbers that are moving. Only look at the numbers you are putting up, because if you do that, you're probably going to end up losing.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. Like, we've seen them do this to 3 straight teams before they did it to OKC. They did it against Giannis and the Bucks. Now, granted, that's a Doc Rivers coach team, so you might want to grade on a curve. I completely understand.
Wow.
At the same time. Am I wrong, though?
No.
Am I really wrong?
No. Still pretty harsh.
But I'm just saying. Okay, so then we go to, again, they did this to Cleveland. Best team in the East. They did the same thing. They just walked them down. And the funny part is, like, I believe they're like either 48. They got either 48 or 49 wins since January 1st. I can't remember. And we always hear the joke of the NBA regular season doesn't matter, this, that, the third, and whatever. But the Indiana Pacers figured out this formula in the regular season, figured out it was replicable. Rick Carlisle is one hell of a coach. He's gone back to the top 7 coaches in the league right now. Like, this team is dangerous, and, like, I do think, like, there is another Rick Carlisle adjustment. There's at least 1 or 2 that I believe that there's at least 1 or 2 more adjustments where they're absolutely going to surprise them. And in between that and then the crowd, because Indiana hasn't seen a finals game in quite literally 25 years, like, this is going to be an electric environment. And also would not surprise me if the Pacers come out like gangbusters, get themselves a laugher. And then now we have the first real test for the Oklahoma City Thunder for Game 4.
I expect the Pacers to come out fast. I expect them to have a lead maybe at the end of the first quarter, but I think Oklahoma City reels them in. And I think we know that the Thunder, we could tell the Thunder are a better team, but I think the Pacers, whatever I'm trying to say here, I think are playing with a belief that they just know that they're going to win. And I think those two competing factors, for my money, are really where this series is going to be decided. And again, I would say to Oklahoma City, don't worry about how much time is left. If you just keep playing, I think you'll be okay. Who's got the better number 2 player in this series? Is it Williams? Is it Williams for OKC?
Williams,
or is it Siakam?
I think it's Siakam. Siakam, and you can make the case Halliburton's been number 2 more than Siakam has. Siakam's been the Pacers' most consistent best player, because as Richard Jefferson rightly pointed out, there was a lot of concert date games in series for Halliburton where he would have great games and then he would go missing.
Yeah.
Like, I would argue Siakam's been better, and if you're going to tell me who's been the better number 2, I would say it's still Indiana. But the problem is, like, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for OKC, where Indiana, like, depends on what you're going to get from Miles Turner. Turner's been able to be played off the floor a little bit. I mean, Chet Holmgren has had his moments. He's not ready yet, but I would argue it's not necessarily about who's number 2, who's been the best number 2, but I'd tell you it's probably been about who's been number 3 better, number 4, number 5, number 6. And if you're not going to get anything out of Nesmith and Nembhard, like you said before, this is probably going to end up being a short series.
Neesmith made every three-pointer against the Knicks in Game 1. He literally could have gone to half court, turned his back to the rim, and kicked it over his head, and it would have gone in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Where's that guy? Where has that guy gone?
Well, remember, this is the same. Go ask Oklahoma City about P.J. Washington last year and how he hit quite literally every three on the way. Like, these things happen. They show up, and they're Cinderella for a round, and then you know what happens? The chariot turns into a pumpkin the next round. It's the same thing that's probably happened for Aaron Neesmith right now.
All right, I'm going to get to the Hornets, by the way, with you, Konata Edwards, in just a couple of minutes at Not a Describe on Twitter. But let me go to the Knicks. This is
you mean Jim Dolan going Jim Dolan?
From where I sit, I'm no Tom Thibodeau fan, but Thibodeau engineered a complete turnaround of the Knicks from soft, weak-minded, blah blah blah, to super tough, get into the playoffs, fight you to the end, and maybe not having good enough talent to really get all the way there. He did a great job with that team. Now, I am all about moving on from Tom Thibodeau. But if you're moving on from Thibodeau, don't you have to know you've got somebody in your back pocket that might be an upgrade and not be turned down by every team in the league when you want to talk to their coach?
See, that's the funny part. That's how you know this is a Jim Dolanite endeavor. This is exactly how you knew. This is exactly how you know this is a Jim Dolan endeavor, because only Jim Dolan would walk into the room, say, now granted, I do think that Tom Thibodeau should have been fired, but I'm like you. There should have been a plan into maybe having a guy. Now granted, am I one of those that believe Mike Malone is the same thing as Tibbs? Yes. Am I one that thinks Mike Brown is somewhat similar of a version of Tibbs? Yes. Those are probably your two best options, unless you're telling me Johnny Bryant's coming back, and I don't think that you're going to go fire Tom Thibodeau for the Cleveland Cavs lead assistant. I don't think you can do that justifiably without everybody rightly being up in arms of why did you fire Tibbs in the first place. But again, as I've said before, this was clearly a Jim Dolan endeavor. He wanted to get him fired. He wanted to fire him. And now they're out there searching, and we'll see. I would be hesitant to bring in Jason Kidd if I were the Knicks, because then it becomes Jason Kidd leaks all your secrets to all the New York media and by large all the ESPN and all the networks.
Right.
But again, that would be me. But I would go get Mike Brown a call of the day at this point.
All right, the Mavericks have denied the Knicks permission to talk to Kidd. The Rockets, for now, the Rockets have denied the Knicks permission to talk to Ime Udoka, and the Timberwolves have denied the Knicks permission to talk to Finch. So those three guys are off the board. You mentioned Brendan Malone. Malone was a good coach, right? Wasn't his dad an assistant?
Yeah, no, Mike Malone. Yeah, Brendan Malone is Mike Malone's father. Yep, the late Brett. Yeah, very, very good coach.
Yeah,
and the big thing, and the thing about Mike Malone is that the same thing that got him fired in Denver was the same thing that got Tibbs fired in New York. You didn't trust your bench. You didn't trust the young guys.
All right.
I don't think you can bring that back and then think that's going to work just because it's a different person with the same voice.
Real quick, wouldn't it be, so Knicks to either go for Doc Rivers or Mark Jackson? You don't have to answer that.
I don't think, unfortunately, I don't think that Doc Rivers is a realistic option, because for some reason I do believe that Doc Rivers is one of the sole reasons that Giannis is still in Milwaukee. So unless you're willing to, and I think that's the only reason why Doc Rivers still has a job, by the way, I would quite honestly think that if you're going to tell me, Doc, you're going to go talk to Doc Rivers, that's another one in the Jason Kidd mold where you're going to have all your secrets. Everybody that Doc is mad at, you're going to find out in the media before you find out from him. So I don't think that's a great idea. And Mark Jackson, I hate to put it like this, but if you were responsible for activating all these guys, meanwhile while ignoring Draymond Green and putting him on the bench regardless of no matter what, but if you were responsible for activating the greatest shooting backcourt of all time, wouldn't you think you'd have gotten a shot before now?
He wasn't a great coach.
He wasn't. The thing is, it wasn't that he wasn't just a great coach. It ended up becoming, okay, I'm going to be an actively bad coach, on top of the fact that I'm not going to accept any of the improvements that are going to happen that ownership is trying to give me, and then yet, I'm going to publicly complain about it on the back end. There's a reason why Mark Jackson has not gotten another offer, and I want people to really start thinking through that.
I just think it would be great to hear hand down, man down, or mama,
no.
There goes that man again from the NBA sidelines. All right, final thing. We've got about like a minute left for my friend Konata Edwards, not the scribe. Make the case for Con Knipple with the Hornets with the 4th pick in the draft.
He's the safest pick in the draft. The thing is, if you're talking about the history of the number 4 pick and how often it may bust out or you may not get what you expect, Con Knipple is the closest thing to Christmas socks when you're from your grandmother when you're 18. Well, not even 18, when you're 14. Yes, it's underwhelming, but you end up needing those things.
Love socks.
So, yeah, Christmas socks. That's the way. Again, socks for Christmas. Again, from your grandmother when you're 14. That's the best way to describe them. It's underwhelming, but you know that it'll serve a purpose.
Man, the guy can shoot. If you can shoot, you're going to play in the league for a long time. But he's more than that, man. He's such a smart player. He is a playmaker. To me, he is like, and I'm not saying he's on them, Luke Kennard on steroids. He is a playmaker who can shoot the ball. Oh, yeah. No, he's definitely better than Kennard.
But the question I have, and I know you saw this game and I did, the time in the ACC tournament where North Carolina came storming back, that guy was on a milk carton. He effectively disappeared.
Yeah, I don't think that was on him, though.
It wasn't on him, but he didn't necessarily do anything to contribute. And then on top of that, the Houston game where he effectively was on a milk carton for that game. Yeah. The moments where he tends to disappear, I do have some kind of questions about those.
I think you can run everything through him, and I think that, to me, that was John Shire's biggest mistake, was not, honestly, using Kennard as an option/decoy for Cooper Flagg in that game against Houston. They really tried to run everything through Flagg, and he wasn't having a great night. I have total faith in Luke Kennard's, even though he's not a super athlete, I think he's a dynamite player. You are both a super athlete and a dynamite player. Konata Edwards, at Not the Scribe on Twitter. My man, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. And don't say you have 3 more weeks of postseason hockey in you. Make them at least earn it. Make them at least offer you a little bit more money if you have that extra in you. Do that for me, Adam.
Okay, you got it. Thank you.
All right, later.
You got it. My agent, Konata Edwards. All right, we got to take a break. We come back. We got one-timers next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The NBA Finals are underway, and FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props. And now you can do everything right within the app with new performance trends, especially if it's after tip-off, because FanDuel is the place for live betting of the NBA Finals. New customers, $200 in bonus bets to you if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. Join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Why choose a family physician? Because they provide healthcare expertise for the entire family, care for acute and chronic disease, treat all ages, and most importantly, keep you healthy. In fact, adults with a family physician have lower health care costs, better health outcomes, and are hospitalized less frequently. Family physicians, your trusted health care advisor for you and your family for life. Brought to you by the NC Academy of Family Physicians.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're talking about a major collaboration that's making waves in Iredell County. Kim Holland, Development Coordinator for the Iredell Health Foundation, tells us about Whole 3.
The goal of the collaborative is about addressing the complex and interwoven challenges that many families in Iredell County face. And, things like poverty, lack of access to health care, and educational disparities. So it's designed as truly a collaborative. It's community-led initiative. We're bringing together schools, nonprofits, health systems, and families to build a system that actually works for families, not just around them.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Healthcare?
Waiting
Why is it
the
so
worst.
hard?
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Really?
Really. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting all your benefits, prescriptions, and details on your computer and phone. Convinced?
No, but it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina, making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
This is Adam Gold.
Soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am him. That's Victoria. How are you doing?
It's hump day.
It is.
I'm really hoping Rusty put the stuff that you missed last Wednesday in because it was fantastic.
Really?
Yeah.
By the way, Chip Patterson joins us next hour.
I know.
I'm very excited to talk to Chip.
I know.
You know what starts tomorrow morning at 6:45?
Oh, boy, that's real early.
It is early. The U.S. Open.
That is
yes,
right.
The U.S. Open starts this week.
That's true.
Chip and I will dig into the Chipalytics on that, as well as talk a little college sports. We got a lot of stuff to talk about with Chip Patterson.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, though, we have one-timers.
I feel like U.S. Open bets might be in our future here, but but we have Kane's one-timer questions in our future right now because looking at our stream, or you can at me on Twitter, Chris wants to know, poor Chris, he's asking, am I delusional, but I want Natchez back? Adam, could you see Natchez ever being a Kane again?
Yeah, I could. Here's what's interesting. I've been I've been reading a lot of stuff out of Colorado.
Oh, he ain't happy there.
It's not that Colorado didn't like him, but I don't know how happy he is there. I don't know whether that's true or not. I did read that he wasn't happy there. I have no idea.
Right.
But Colorado's like, wait a second. You don't know if he's going to sign. Why did you do that? You just kicked the can down the road 1 year. Yeah, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Martin Necas finds his way back to the Hurricanes.
I would love to spell Canes with Necas again.
I've said this before. Maybe I'm an apologist, but I'm a huge fan of Martin Necas. I mean, I don't see it now.
Yeah.
Maybe it happens as a free agent 2 years from now. I have no idea, but yeah, I could see it happen.
Yeah, maybe the birdie just had to leave the nest for a second. So we'll see. Next up from our YouTube stream, thoughts on the prospects on expiring deals. Who comes back, if any, and do any of them have a shot at the roster?
Like
Suzuki, they used examples like Suzuki, stuff like that.
Yeah, Nick Suzuki is not, like, if he's an NHL player, he's a fringe NHL player. I don't anticipate really any of those guys being NHL players for me, but yeah, Nick Suzuki, I think, needs another organization.
And this might be last up from our YouTube stream. Is the soccer display a reality that USA Soccer has no one in the pipeline for being competitive on the world stage?
I was disappointed in a lot of reasons last night, but I would hesitate before I really assigned a ton of importance to that, but it wasn't good.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hi, it's Adam from my friend Gordon Miller. Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. He invented the no closing cost mortgage back in 1987. What he invented really was your ability to save thousands of dollars when you buy a house. At that point, nobody had ever come up with that concept. He did, because he recognized that closing costs really were just buying down the mortgage rate, and that's all well and good, but why would you pay $5,000 for a benefit that would only save you $50 a month and then impede you in saving further money? Because I didn't want to waste closing costs, and I don't want to come up with them again. Miller Lending, they're on Kildare Farm Road in Cary. That's where you save thousands when you buy the house or refinance, and hundreds when you refinance and save thousands again. It's that kind of a concept. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2147.
Champions are crowned on 99.9 The Fan.
Hartenstein to the rim for Holmgren, who grabs and flushes.
Basketball tonight. Indiana, Oklahoma City. The NBA Finals.
Oklahoma City, all cylinders working tonight.
Game 3. Tip-off at 8:30 on your audio home for the NBA Finals. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
And the Oklahoma City Thunder again bounce back after a loss in the postseason.
It is Men's Health Month, and I'm Tim Donnelly, joined by Dr. Katie Rains, urologist from Wake Med. Doctor, when it comes to prostate cancer, what types of screenings are there for men to do, and where do you find them, or where do you get them done when you're interested?
The best screening test for prostate cancer is a blood test called the PSA, or the prostate-specific antigen. And if that's high, you may be recommended to go see a urologist. There are other tests that we can do in addition to that blood test, including a digital rectal exam. That doesn't have to be done if you go see your primary care doctor to discuss a PSA, but that may be part of your workup. And then if your primary care doctor does that blood test and it is high, they may refer you to see a urologist for further testing.
Once again, it is Men's Health Month, so for answers to questions like that one and much, much more, including general information for men and their health, please visit wakemed.org. Once again, that website is wakemed.org.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
Parenting is hard. Technology can make it harder. The Family Media Plan developed by the American Academy of Pediatrics helps make it easier. Go to healthychildren.org/media plan today to create the media plan that's right for your family.
Do you have a wedding anniversary coming up? Don't just mark the day. Make it unforgettable with Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Shop their exquisite selection of designer jewelry or consider upgrading your original engagement ring with the diamond she really deserves. Whether this is the 1st or 31st anniversary, celebrate your love with something special, wrapped in a black and white striped box from Bailey's. Voted best jeweler from the Triangle to the Coast. Every woman wants a Bailey box. Visit us today in store or at baileybox.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com. Get in the hole!
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
So, we thought that the NFL was headed for a tush-push-free league. No.
Not happening?
No, they voted, and it did not get the required 24 votes. And so there will be tushes pushed in the NFL in 2025.
Pushing tushes.
There you go.
Happy Hump Day!
That's brilliant. Blast from the past.
Gets me every time.
It's the Adam Gold Show. Yes, on a Wednesday. Well, it's not a tush-push day.
No, but it is Hump Day.
Hey, everybody should be excited about this. We're going to have more video replay challenges in college basketball next year.
Oh, boy.
Who isn't a fan of that?
Yep. Let's extend that game by 30 minutes.
Like, we have enough video reviews at the end of basketball games now. I guess we're not going to get any more. I guess we might as well have the ability for coaches. It's the whole thing. Man, the last 2 minutes of a basketball game take forever. Elam ending. Mm-hmm. Get to a point. Let's get a target score. Let's go after it. Done. Boy, bad. Just horrible to watch the end of these some of these games. We sat through it during the NCAA tournament. It happens all the time. Now we're going to get more reviews. Oh, yeah. It's so exciting. Chip Patterson's going to join us in a little bit.
That is exciting.
That is absolutely exciting. All right, let's run it back. All right, let's see what we can get to. Let's start with some games we have coming up. Tonight, we have NBA Finals. Game number 3, the Pacers at home to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Indiana, a substantial home underdog. They're +5 at home. The money line is +190. A lot of value for a team that showed that no deficit is too much for them to overcome. So that's cool. And then tomorrow we'll have Game 4. Yeah, Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And I think based on the way, I thought our friend Corey Lavalette from The Athletic and North State Journal, I thought put it really well on Twitter in that Edmonton lost their minds not out of anything Florida did other than score goals. Because it wasn't like Florida was spending all game provoking them. They just scored, and Edmonton lost it. You got to maintain your cool. I think they were shorthanded 4 times in the first period. The goal that put Florida ahead 2-0, I thought completely unnerved the Oilers. Because that was the 3rd power play. I thought at that point they had now they made it a 2-1 game later. But Florida didn't waste much time after that restoring the 2-goal lead, and that might have effectively ended the game. But I thought that the goal that put them ahead 2-0, the Verhaeghe goal, for my money, first of all, could somebody just try to defend him?
I know.
You just can't. How close do you want to get? He just kept drifting in off the left.
Such a great shot, though.
Yeah, it was. Off the inside of the pole. Yeah, tremendous shot.
Oh, man.
So, no shade at all on Stuart Skinner, who I haven't read anything, but I thought there was some rumbling that they might go to Calvin Pickard for Game 4, which, look, I don't know. It probably doesn't matter. But I thought that took a lot of the steam out of the Oilers because they had been surviving the Florida onslaught to that point, and then a third power play. And I thought there were a lot of unnecessary penalties taken.
A lot. By
Edmonton. But when you take that many penalties, a good chunk of them are likely to be unnecessary. So we'll see if Edmonton can play with more poise tomorrow night for game number 4. I think they will. And this is what I know. Whether or not it's going to work or not, we have no idea. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they still hurt from last year. There is another level for those two guys to reach.
Yes.
So.
And if Zach Hyman was still there, he would be with them.
Yeah, but that's a big loss.
It's a huge loss,
very, very big loss. Because the other guys, I don't trust Evander Kane. He is a low character player to me. Talented, big, and plays with a lot of mean.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's a lot of what Evander Kane is that should appeal to the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
But I think he is a low character player, and I don't think he's reliable. But he is super talented.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to need some of the other guys. I have more faith in Adam Henrique or Matthias Janmark to come through than I do Evander Kane.
Maybe Nugent Hopkins.
Yeah, he hasn't had a great series.
No.
Corey Perry scoring goals. Still 1,000 years old.
40 years
It's
old.
amazing that Corey Perry is still as good in the way for what they need him to do, right? They don't need him to do a ton, but he also has taken some strange penalties. But that's Corey Perry pretty much to a T. All right, so we have those two games out of the way. U.S. Open starts tomorrow. Scotty Scheffler, and we're going to talk about this with Jason Sobel later on, and I know it'll come up when we place bets in about 40 minutes or so. Scotty Scheffler is shorter than 3-1 odds to win the U.S. Open. We legitimately, in terms of putting it in a wagering context, we legitimately have entered Tiger Woods territory with Scotty Scheffler. Now, Scheffler isn't even as close. He's not close to Woods in terms of what he can do. But right now, Scheffler is a machine when it comes to putting it in the fairway, putting it on the green, and shooting lower scores than everybody else, which is Tigerish. And the betting odds reflect that. He is plus 280 right now at FanDuel to win. Plus 280. You go back a year, and the favorite to win the U.S. Open, I believe, was Scheffler at plus 800. And even that is short odds. 280. Insanity. And there's nobody that doesn't believe that Scotty Scheffler. I was looking at ESPN's, all of their experts. They had 15 people picked who's going to win. And I think 12 of them said Scheffler. And the other 3 were all the same. They were all John Rahm. So we'll see what the Chipolytics say coming up in a little bit. Gary Williams also joins us in hour number 3 from 5 Clubs Golf. But Jason Sobel will join us also in hour number 3. So the U.S. Open is tomorrow. All right, let me just do this very quickly. Jacob Slavin was picked eighth in the Norris Trophy voting. Norris Trophy goes to the best defenseman in the NHL, and Slavin finished eighth in the voting. It was a runaway win for Cale Makar, who I agree with. Second place was Columbus's Zach Werenski, who this year I agree with. Third was Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver Canucks, who this year I don't agree with, but that's okay. He was third among defensemen in scoring. Zach Werenski second among defensemen in scoring. Cale Makar first among defensemen in scoring, which leads me to this question. Why not just make this very cut and dried? Whoever finishes first in scoring among defensemen, you win the Norris. Since that's the way it works, apparently. I guess we don't care about defense. When it comes to the best defenseman, we don't care about defense.
Nope, not a thing.
If they gave the Vezina Trophy out to the goalie who had the most scoring points, that would fall in line with the Norris Trophy.
Right. Exactly. Who's had the most fights?
Yeah. Jacob Slavin, to me, when he again finished eighth, he was tied for 314th in the NHL in scoring. I don't know where he ranked among defensemen. He was probably outside the top 30 defensemen in scoring, maybe more, maybe outside the top 40 of defensemen in scoring. I can certainly sort that out. But for me, if we're talking about the best defenseman in the league, I looked at that list. There is one defenseman I would take over Jacob Slavin, just one, and that is Cale Makar. Slavin is the best defender in the NHL. Among defensemen, the best defender. But whatever. He only had 27 points. Therefore, he can't be the best defenseman. It's the way it works. So silly.
Make it make sense.
Oh, it never will. It never will. All right, very quickly, there's a new Cade's Corner podcast up. I have a conversation with Eric Cole about the way it ended, what Carolina needs to get better, and it's all up there at the Cade's Corner podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Rate, review, subscribe, like, share, whatever. Comment. Appreciate your support with the Cade's Corner podcast. When we come back, Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com. The House settlement was approved. I was a little surprised at that. Now what? We'll talk about that, and we'll get the Chipalytics on the U.S. Open next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
We have to talk to the Atlantic Coast Conference. Why in the world are State and Carolina not playing 2 college basketball games this season? For the first time in over a century, Carolina won't host State and men's basketball. What do you think your media partners want? More or less rivalries? We know the answer.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Summer is in full swing, and I am so excited for everything that comes along with it. And I am not just talking about swimming and grilling out. I'm Victoria Vodenecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and what I'm referencing is uncovering the motorcycle, getting friends together, and exploring new routes. Now, it's easy just to think about the fun that's about to be had, but it's also important to remember what to do in case of an accident. If you get into a wreck on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, please remember to call my friends at Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they know the value of your bike, your gear, the investment that you've made, and what it's like to go through an accident. The insurance company just wants to pay you the least amount, so at Law Tigers, case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
I am here with Patrick Day of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I'm on your website. Gutter helmets right on the front of the website. Do you have a gutter helmet to fit my head? I have a small head.
We have a gutter helmet for every head, Adam. So anyhow, if you give us a call, we'll come out and take a look at your windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, and of course we can do the gutter helmet. We have financing programs that are really good. So we have like 12 months with 0 payments for 12 months. You don't have to pay anything. So if you're thinking about home improvements and you're thinking you're saving up for it, just come on and see us and we'll go ahead and get you set up and get your project done, and you can pay in 12 months from now.
I feel like you're speaking directly to me. If it's for the exterior of your home, there is no better place than the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can find them online, aluminumcompany.com. Siding, roofing, windows, entry doors, storm doors, and the world-famous gutter helmets. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, 1-800-672-4348.
Lenovo is celebrating 20 years of calling the Triangle home. Through our Evolve Small program, we're supporting minority and women-owned small businesses by delivering technology to make jobs more accessible and inclusive. Here's to 20 more years of empowering local businesses and driving innovation together.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers the most important high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsor, First Carolina Bank. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it and finish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's why.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria, producing the program. Great track, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So, a little inside baseball is that we've had a fair amount of technical issues with our normal video system to the point where we couldn't use it on Monday. We had a couple of people who were going to, like we had Bomani Jones on the show Monday.
Mm-hmm.
He was all set to join us on via video. Mark Kriegel wrote the book about Mike Tyson.
Yep.
He was going to join us on video. And we were having some technical issues, end up being phone conversations. And I had texted the one, the only Chip Patterson earlier today. Say, hey, it's not working. We're just going to do phone today. Chip has fixed it. I don't know how, but Chip has fixed it. So there he is, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator. Sir, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess never update your software, right? As long as you never update your software, all of the old cache and cookies will just like keep you rocking and rolling. Okay?
No joke. I updated software on my MacBook. And I swear, like, everything's different now. I have to go back and like enter like credentials to get into, like, why do I have to do this again? Because I made the mistake of updating software.
Yeah, we're blowing through with the old thing to be able to make sure we've got video here on a Wednesday. Come on, let's go.
All right, we're gonna dig into the Chipalytics coming up in a little bit. But while since you and I did not chat last week, I think it was over this weekend. House versus the NCAA was approved. The settlement was approved by Judge Claudia Wilkin in Northern California District Court. There were some concessions made to the point where she could approve the settlement. What now, Chip Patterson?
Well, the good news is that I don't think anybody who I don't think anybody in a leadership position in an athletic department was expecting that all of a sudden, they didn't have to plan, right? Like it's not as though there's like, oh, we'll wait for Claudia Wilkins' approval and then we'll go about the process of figuring out what to do with $20.5 million. Hard conversations have been had. The spreadsheets have been created where that money is going to come from and how it is going to be funneled to the players and to the teams. Those problems have been discussed for a long time because, as we discussed in our conversations, there have been several steps along the way where an approval was expected and then it was delayed or pushed back or given back. And so that's when we had that happen. We started to hear like, what's the worst case? We don't have to start paying $20.5 million. We just have to wait for a little bit.
Right.
So there is not a lot of chaos behind the scenes in college athletics now that it's through. What is interesting is how much like when NIL was first brought into college sports, there are a lot of things that still need to be figured out. There is a lot of loose, framework. There's a lot of suggestions, but NIL sort of went into place. The NCAA said, cool, and just dropped their hands and ran. The College Sports Commission and NIL Go, which we have been discussing as NIL Go Plus. I don't know if you've heard our NIL Go Plus. Come subscribe to NIL Go Plus, where we will review NIL contracts. We'll bring you in.
All of them. Every single one of them, Chip.
We'll light everyone over $600. If it's under $600, so congratulations to the backup long snapper. Your $500 deal with the local seafood joint, that's all good. You don't even have to report that. That can just be a simple transaction. So on NIL Go Plus, we are going to be reviewing all these contracts. We'll have tiki torches. We'll vote you off the island. That is NIL Go Plus. Come subscribe in the fall. Yeah, all of that stuff still, there's so many pieces to it that haven't even been figured out in terms of the enforcement, though we know the NCAA will not be doing the enforcement. It will be the College Sports Commission, which, by the way, doesn't even have a CEO yet.
Right.
I mean, it is...
Isn't it like the person who's going to lead it, isn't it from Major League Baseball?
The thing that fans need to understand is that the $20.5 million, which will be given to an entire athletic department's worth of athletes, is not NIL.
Right. Those are revenue-sharing payments from the school.
That is a revenue-sharing payroll, and that this NIL piece of it, which at the very top schools has led to the insane roster dollar amounts that have been reported. Because if I'm in Austin, Texas, and I pass around the hat and I get $20 million.
Just from Matthew McConaughey.
It's like, now that the school can pay him 17, we're not expecting any less than $20 million when we pass the hat around. So that's how you get a $37 million roster in 2025. NIL is all going to be on top of that. So enforcing NIL, which is then coming on top of the revenue that is being shared from the school with the athletes, those are two trains running on different tracks. They contribute to huge dollar amounts that we see, but one of these I think is pretty clean, which is the school paying the players. That is very, very clean.
That's the easy part of it.
That is the easy part. Is correct. What is not easy and what I don't even have the answers for is exactly how much and what kind of enforcement we can expect in terms of what the CSC can or will do for NIL deals, which it might deem as not fitting to the letter of the law.
Chip Patterson, as always on Wednesdays, at least when I'm here, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. We go back to, it was like early April. We were expecting, we had a hearing, and we were expecting approval from Judge Wilkin back 2 months ago almost, right? No, more than 2 months, almost 10 weeks ago. And that would have given everybody, to an extent, enough time to get to the July 1 deadline where a lot of these things would be in place. But so much time has happened, aren't, like some of these deals that have been signed, are they likely, like, not that we would Well, I'll just ask, are they likely to pass muster with the College Sports Commission? I guess that's what we're calling it, not the clearinghouse.
If I am to paint with a very broad brush, collectives have been rushing to get deals done before July 1 with the thought that the scrutiny is only going to be for deals moving forward. So everybody that has signed an NIL deal for the 25-26 year, for the football season, for the basketball season, that those deals were done in the old regime without this kind of scrutiny, and collectives had urgency to spend money and to overspend in some cases to try and strike up those deals. I mean, like Nico Iamalieva's deal, which ended up being broken with Tennessee, but that was a multi-year deal that was agreed to even before he was a student on campus. So I don't have deals that cross my desk every day, but I would not be surprised if multi-year deals worth multiple millions of dollars were maybe pushed through to try and get them done between collectives and athletes before July 1.
And the truth is that for people who might remember this, in the last NFL collective bargaining situation, there ended up being one uncapped year in terms there was no salary cap for that particular season. Now, the teams in general operated under their own, their own cap, but it wasn't like all of a sudden the Dallas Cowboys decided to spend $600 million on their roster.
Whereas, they copied and pasted from spreadsheet tab A to spreadsheet tab B, more or less.
Pretty much. All right, so this is and Chip Patterson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. This to me is I think the really fascinating part of this conversation. And I'm not getting it, I purposely want to stay away from, in the purpose of this conversation, from the legal, I call this the era of the lawsuit that we're about to enter. Because
Did you see how much money Kessler and Berman are making off of bringing this thing to close?
I haven't seen it, but I can only imagine it's an enormous number.
It's like buy your way out of the ACC big.
Yeah. No, it had to be.
$485 million for the legal services for Berman and Kessler bringing this thing all the way to settlement.
Yeah, that is. I'm just not that surprised. The running joke is the biggest winner is billable hours, right? And that's what those guys are. So, for me, I think we're entering into now an era of lawsuit upon lawsuit upon lawsuit upon lawsuit until a collective bargaining agreement is signed between the athletes and the NCAA. And until we get that, I think we're just going to have one lawsuit after another. But that's not for our conversation. I am fascinated by when these schools all believe that they will be operating under the rules, will we see cheating curtailed, or will it be business as usual and schools will do whatever they have to do to win?
I think cheating will not be curtailed. Schools will do whatever they have to do to try to win. I think that in the NIL era, I have seen some different cultures. The program that spends the most and drops the biggest bags turns in a lot of 8, 9, 10 win seasons.
Yeah.
And doesn't always bring home the trophy, because the kinds of players that they're getting are the players that are just going to chase the biggest bag instead of taking the other factors for their own success into consideration. That the talent level is starting to disperse among the top tier, so that when you've got a collection of players that are all in this, with the right mentality, that's how you win championships. So yeah, there are still going to be salary caps are going to be broken, and money's going to be spent, and it's going to be under the table, and jobs are going to be given, apartments are going to be rented, cars are going to show up. All of those things are still going to exist. But when at the same time a star player can sign these deals and can agree to be compensated highly, I think that those like-minded individuals are going to end up grouping up together and those are going to be the ones that compete for championships.
Yeah, I mean,
so
basically nothing's really changed except that there's the schools are going to be spitting out $20-some-odd million, although not all of that is going to current athletes and not all of it will be going to football players.
Right.
Most of it will, football, basketball. Heck, there will probably be some schools that might devote some of that money, a lot of that money to baseball. I don't know, right? I mean, I could certainly see a school that doesn't really play. Like if I'm Vanderbilt, I mean, maybe I just want, we're just going to hang on in football and, eat from the SEC trough and give a lot of our money to baseball and basketball.
Well, what about Coastal Carolina?
Absolutely.
Coastal Carolina in the College World Series, and with all respect to our friend Tim Beck, I don't know if you're the hottest thing in Conway right now.
Well, that is true. Good luck to the Chanticleers. Let me ask you this question, Chip Patterson, and before we go to the Chipalytics for Oakmont. What is and I heard Mac Brown discussing this issue. What is the biggest issue? Is there a bigger issue for coaches right now? Forget about NIL than the portal?
No. Because it wrecks their life.
Yeah.
That's the thing that they are feeling right now. 2 portal windows means that you've got free agency every 6 months, and it means that you are expending the effort to constantly re-recruit your own roster while also preemptive scouting and then eventually recruiting other people's rosters. It is the piece where some of the top coaches in the sport don't even care about the NIL or the house settlement. They say, no, listen, if you want to fix something or make it better than our current system, our current structure, and I think the word that gets used often is our current calendar is just absolutely brutal. Would you here's the thing is, do I believe everything they're selling? Because the American Football Coaches Association came out with the recommendation that in general I support. It is for 1 portal window. It is for the middle of January. Not in the middle of December.
Right.
Not starting the Monday after we unveil the college football playoff bracket, but instead maybe around the time of the college football playoff semifinals. So would that change coaches switching jobs? I'll tell you one thing. The transfer portal has made coaches switching jobs happen earlier than ever. Much earlier than it ever had before, both at the head coaching and assistant coaching level. Would it fix opt-outs in bowl games? I don't know. Those still are, largely, not largely, they still are exhibitions. And if you are a player who's planning to hit the portal, you're probably still opting out. But it might change some of the skeleton staffs that we see if we don't have the coaches jumping all the way. And then you would also be able to, with this 1 portal window in the month of January, be able to get everything together and not have to worry about going through spring practice without losing half your starting lineup on defense after spring practice. You can actually install and build and let these guys get some cohesion. I mean, just down the street here at the University of North Carolina, they're going to have 70 to 75 new faces since the end of last season, since the Fenway Bowl, and a lot of those are guys that are showing up in June, or guys that just came even after spring practice. The work that is there in terms of getting everybody to gel. Coaches, I think, would like to see 1 portal window instead of 2, and instead of it being in the middle of December, they'd like for it to be in the middle of January. I think there would be a lot of positives that come from that. I understand there might be some challenges, but I'd support the notion.
Yeah, and I'm not against roster certainty. I'm not against that. I am pro-player movement, and I do wonder if we're going to see, and I've always thought this, that, and I'll just make this big picture statement, I wonder, Chip, if 15 years ago, if the universities, the NCAA, had simply allowed the athletes to make money off of who they were outside from third parties and not made that illegal, eligibility crushing, if we would be here today. But because everything happens so quick then it all got out of control. I've always believed that things will settle down and we'll have a system that kind of moves just, like a meandering brook as opposed to a rushing waterfall. Do you think we'd be in the same position if the NCAA 15 years ago just said, hey, you, AJ Green, I think it's cool that you're selling your bowl jersey for $4,000. I think it's cool that you're doing that. I think it's cool that you're doing like an autograph signing at a car dealership. I think that's great. You should do that. Think we'd be in the same spot?
15 years ago, we had about half of North Carolina's roster suspended for the game against LSU.
That's right.
They went so, you mentioned AJ Green. Yeah. I was going to say like Jim Tressel and the tattoos.
Oh yeah. The gold pants.
Yeah. We went too hard there at the end of that decade. And now I think you're right. If we had an environment that had already gone through its wild, wild west market correction, then wouldn't have been as big of an issue. But they might not have had to go through the house settlement case.
Correct. Correct. All of this is caused by the NCAA deciding that this is our money and you don't deserve it, and then trying to pretend that they were treating the athletes like any other student when they absolutely weren't. All right. Now it's time for the Chipolytics, the U.S. Open at Oakmont. Last time it was here, 2016. Dustin Johnson won it. By the way, Gary Williams next hour. Jason Sobel also. We'll talk a lot of U.S. Open golf with them. All right. Scotty Scheffler is in insanely low odds at plus 280 as far as I saw 2 hours ago at FanDuel. Do the Chipolytics point to anybody other than Scotty Scheffler?
Two names.
All right.
And then I've got two dark horses. Like if you want to do the off the radar flyer.
Sure.
I think last year's U.S. Open winner, who's just been lights out in majors for the last 2 years. I think that any contender conversation has to include Bryson DeChambeau. I have no reason to say don't pick him for your fantasy team or your pool or as an outright or anything along the lines. I don't know if I'm going to gravitate there this week. If there is a favorite, I'm just going to take Scotty with the best boost that you can get in America, like whatever, just have it in the portfolio, because you know what? You mentioned that number right there. If he goes out there and shoots 70, if he shoots 71,
right,
it's only going to the number's only going one direction with that.
Right. He's like IBM, isn't he?
Yes. Right. you just get it and you just add it in the portfolio. I have found myself rooting just because it is really fun when he's playing well, and he seems really close to playing well. I found myself rooting for a good Jon Rahm week.
Yeah.
I think Jon Rahm could play well at this course.
He's tied for the third choice as far as I saw.
And I'm kind of in on that one. And then I tell you what, don't be surprised. I don't think he'll win. But you see Sepp Straka flirting around the top of the board.
I agree.
That's a name that's getting a little bit of my interest. And then another one, this is at this point my curse. He's kind of been tattooed on me at this point. He's given me wins, he's given me incredible heartbreak, but Corey Connors has been playing great golf. So
it's a major.
Don't hate some Corey Connors going into this as well.
I expect Corey Connors to be in the top 10,
at some point.
That's absolutely. All right, so we don't have to go back that far to see everybody picking Ludwig Åberg. Have we completely moved off of Åberg at this point?
Yeah, things are looking a little shaky.
Plus 2,200 right now, by the way.
If we did this, we obviously there's a lot more of body work that you can hang your hat on, but when JT goes through a swoon, you always want to be the first guy to buy back in, right? You want to. He is the ultimate, for the people who know the reference. Like, he's the ultimate buy the dip golfer, because you're like, I'll tell you what, JT's he's gonna regress back to positive at some point, and I don't doubt that Ludwig is going to bounce back from where he was. What, like January, February? It really seemed like he was at the top of the sport.
Yep.
That's when he had the Farmers win and a lot of really strong finishes. And then he sniffed the lead in Augusta National and pooped his pants.
He did.
I don't know if he's been the same.
He cost me a return.
Yeah, I think that this is one where we step back, and I be late to the party with Ludwig, but if you want to take a bite on a buy low spot, the talent is obviously there.
I think Xander Schauffele also at plus 2,200. If he can put the ball in the fairway, why isn't this a Xander Schauffele? First of all, he's awesome at U.S. Opens.
Agree. Awesome at U.S. Opens. And at the end of last year, we were talking about Xander as though he's a top 3 player in the world.
Yeah.
But ever since he came back from injury, I just haven't felt like we're back to full form yet. Like a top 3 player in the world contender.
Yeah, but if he puts the ball in the fairway, I think he'll definitely be in contention because he has all of the other aspects of his game. All right, I'm going to throw you a couple of guys. You tell me, and I have a top 5, a top 10. I have 2 top 20s. All right. Okay. Daniel Berger, top 5.
Wow, oh, that's a scratcher. What's the payout on that? That's a good one.
Plus 1,100.
Yeah,
I think Berger, because he's had to deal with a lot of injuries over the last couple of years. When was when the Ryder Cup was at Whistling Straits, right? Wasn't Berger part of that team?
Daniel Berger. Yes, he feels like he's had a good season.
Yeah, I think Berger has a chance. Can he hit enough fairways to do it? I have Justin Rose as a top 10 player.
I like that a lot.
Plus 850.
Yeah.
By the way, how about that group? McIlroy, Lowry, and Justin Rose. Could they have made it any more comfortable for Rory McIlroy?
I was about to say.
The USGA just went to Rory. Look, I just want you to play with your 2 best friends.
No, they just want him to make the weekend.
I have a Rory wager for you.
Throw Rory in the missed cut parlay. I mean,
plus 235. Gosh, It's terrible. I saw one that had plus 290. I'd be all over that. Taylor Pendrith, top 20, plus 230.
Good with the driver.
Yeah,
right?
Big driver.
Yeah. Big driver.
Big hitter, the llama.
Not hot. No like red flag accuracy, issues in terms of like good with the driver. Should put himself in some good positions. I like that.
Yeah, strokes gained off the tee. I believe he is 5th on the PGA Tour. I also like Tom Hoagie to top 20 at plus 430 if you wanted to go down the board. Who do you have? Who do you like?
Okay. So, by the way, I just looked this up. Daniel Berger, basically since May of last year, the trend line is just straight up.
Good.
I mean, he's been locked in. Missed cut at the Memorial, missed cut at Charles Schwab, but over the course of the last year or so, obviously dialed in. Okay, so. I am going to be hunting, okay?
Okay.
I am going to be hunting opportunities to jump on the other side of some major champions, Sometimes you got to bundle them up.
Yep.
I've been doing my research and I've seen the photos. I'm out on DJ. I mean, just everywhere I can be. Everywhere I can be.
He's done. He's completely done. He's got 9 good holes in him.
I mean, just remarkably cooked.
Yeah.
It's very, very disappointing. We do not like to see it. We do not celebrate that we are reveling in this. I'm out on Rory. I mean, the fact that we are snapping photos of him on the driving range to try to figure out what driver he's using as though that's going to help us understand anything. People, and not people, I count myself. We thought that he was going to win the Masters and everything was going to open up and he was just going to be charging down to take over the world. And doesn't it feel like it's been the opposite?
Yeah, it has been. I'm holding out hope that Rory will, but by the way, I do agree that a Rory miscut is a great bet this week. But I hope that he kind of recovers so he plays well at Royal Portrush. I just need him to be in the mix at home, right?
Right.
I just need him to be in the mix at home.
Where he missed the cut the last time it was there because of all the weight and pressure that were bearing down on him.
Yeah, I think that's kind of over at this point, but I just need him to be in the hunt that week. All right, continue.
I mentioned Sepp Straka, Corey Connors. I'll be getting those at fair markets, fair prices. I will wait until we get into the tournament because it is very frequent that at FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can make every moment more, that they offer the regular bonuses once profit boost, once the tournament actually starts.
Right.
That's where I need Pat the Hat to go out and shoot 75 on Thursday because Canales' ability to backdoor himself into good finishing positions in championships like this, it's pretty strong. So I'll be looking to get a piece of that. And this is the one I was actually excited to throw at you. What do you think about Colin?
I like Colin Morikawa. This should be a good event for him. I just don't think he's playing well.
Yeah.
I mean, historically, this should be a great event for Colin Morikawa, who is fairways and greens.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But it just doesn't seem like he is on top of his game at all.
And am I wrong to think that when the greens are this fast, as long as you're an average putter, you'll be okay? That it's like being a very good putter does not necessarily give you a huge bonus at a place like Oakmont. Is that fair?
I don't think it gives you a huge advantage at any major to be a great putter. I think all you have to do is have a good putting week. The best ball strikers should win. Tommy Fleetwood, first round lead, plus 4,000.
Just not on Sunday.
Right. First round.
Tommy Fleetwood gets washed in warm water between Saturday and Sunday because I haven't seen that much shrinkage in a final round.
Holy mackerel.
A player with that much talent.
I mean, I'll give you one more. Rasmus Højgaard. First round leader, plus 9,000.
I like that.
Yeah. The better of the two Højgaards, I think. I'm not sure.
You cannot definitively say Rasmus is better than Nikolai. No. They may have switched in a golf tournament and no one would know.
I think you're 100% correct on that, by the way.
What about Shane Lowry? Last one here. Shane Lowry's been playing good golf.
I wish I knew he did fairways. Yeah. I think you're just not going to be able to get away with it from the rough. You got to be in the fairway this week, based on what I have seen. I mean, you could get lucky and miss some fairways and have good lies, but you could also get to the point where you just have to gouge it out, and it'd be like hitting a bunker, a fairway bunker at an Open Championship course, where it's basically, a one-stroke penalty. Chip Patterson, senior. I'm making up a headline, a title for you. College football.
Hey, listen, the title doesn't matter as long as the paycheck has the right number. I've never really complained about those kinds of things.
You're a gentleman. Thanks, man. Talk to you later.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
I missed 1 week with Chip, and now I can't even identify him. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. All right, we got a break. We come back. We'll stretch. We will place bets. I've already given you my U.S. Open wagers. I've already given them to you. All right, we have others next.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Why choose a family physician? Because they provide healthcare expertise for the entire family, care for acute and chronic disease, treat all ages, and most importantly, keep you healthy. In fact, Adults with a family physician have lower health care costs, better health outcomes, and are hospitalized less frequently. Family physicians, your trusted health care advisor for you and your family for life. Brought to you by the NC Academy of Family Physicians.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're talking about a major collaboration that's making waves in Iredell County. Kim Holland, Development Coordinator for the Iredell Health Foundation, tells us about Whole 3.
The goal of the collaborative is about addressing the complex and interwoven challenges that many families in Iredell County face. And, things like poverty, lack of access to health care, and educational disparities. So it's designed as truly a collaborative. It's community-led initiative. We're bringing together schools, nonprofits, health systems, and families to build a system that actually works for families, not just around them.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Healthcare? Why?
Why is it so hard?
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Really?
Really. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting all your benefits, prescriptions, and details on your computer and phone. Convinced?
No, but it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina, making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Here at NC Cyber Academy, screens are a good thing. At our K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school, your child can find a flexible and personalized education that lets them take a brain break when they need it, but also provides structured one-on-one time with our amazing teachers. But we also power down our laptops for in-person activities with fellow students to build community. Visit myncca.com to learn how we can set your child up for success in the classroom, at college, and in their careers.
When your kid can't find the language, find the lyrics at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Pivotal Ventures.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. Gary Williams, 5 Clubs Golf. Next hour on the U.S. Open. Jason Sobel. For those of you who do fancy a golf wager or two, don't trust me. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you'll hear from Jason Sobel in our next hour. And he has fallen into that niche, if you will, as a brand ambassador for MGM Sports. And golf is his expertise. So we'll do that next hour. Right now, it's time to stretch.
Place your bets.
Place your bets. Do bets now because we're not going to.
Oh, we're not. Oh, we're just going right to it. All right, let's do it.
No stretching today.
I never slide. Okay, you can own me. I owe you.
I really wish I would have put my real money down on my bets yesterday because they were all baseball bets. And I went 3, 4, 3, including with my Cubs. I got my Cubbies over 9.5 plus 260. The Milwaukee Brewers to win. They were underdogs plus 110. And then Detroit Tigers to win. They were underdogs too. So I'm picking an all underdog day again.
All right.
So
the Tigers were underdogs?
They were underdog. They were plus 115 yesterday. It was stupid. So we're going back to the well. Detroit Tigers still in Baltimore against the Orioles. They're still underdogs. A little less, though, plus 110. I'm taking it.
Wow. Don't blame you a single bit.
No.
Don't blame you a single bit. By the way, your Cubs right now, you can get them at plus 480.
Yeah, it's not good.
Because it's only 3-0.
I know. They could come back.
Must be late in the game. No, it can't be late in the game. It's 5 minutes to 2.
I know. It's the bottom of the third. Yeah, so.
Bottom of the third, man. The Cubs might be a good wager.
They could.
Good point. All right. We'll do the NBA Finals. Game 3 tonight. Pacers home to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Right now, the Indiana on the money line is plus 180 at home. Under 228. If you combine those two, plus 373. And I like it.
Nice. Also going back to the same thing, Atlanta Braves still in Milwaukee taking on the Brewers. I know, Braves fans, I hate to go against you, but I'm taking the Brewers again at home underdogs. They're plus 150 today, so why not?
Yeah, by the way, Atlanta's on the struggle bus again.
Yeah.
Hate to see that.
I know. I don't know if that 7-1 victory a few days ago makes them an under or a favorite. I don't know.
Nobody. Nobody.
Yeah.
Hates to see that. All right. Mets home to the Nationals. Now I feel like this is almost unfair that anytime a home run, Juan Soto is plus 350. I'm going to say it out loud. The Juan Soto time has arrived. Soto, anytime home run, plus 350. If I had more time, I would find to hit 2 home runs tonight, and I would take that as well. I think Juan Soto has a big game tonight, and the Mets win again. Because that's why not? Because they're the Mets.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Mr. Businessman, you looking to reward your staff for a great first quarter? Adam Gold here, X-Golf in Cary, right in the McGregor Village Shopping Center. Take your company party or team building event to a new level. First, the premier golf simulator in North Carolina. So much fun. Food is great, bar's top-notch, and it's a better idea than another company polo. Plus, there's a buy one, get one special for your tee time as well. Just mention Gold and enjoy. Online at playxgolf.com/Cary, North Carolina's home for indoor golf.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Every second counts in a poison emergency. That's why Poison Help is standing by 24/7 to provide free assistance in over 100 languages. Save Poison Help as a contact in your phone today. Poison Help. 1-800-222. 1222.
Down on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Pacers have to win Game 3 to make it a series. If they don't win Game 3, I could see this series being over in 5. I could see what happened to them, what the Pistons did to the Portland Trail Blazers. Trail Blazers got 1 out of 2 back in that series in 1990. Thought going home and feeling good, didn't scratch another game. The Pacers have to win Game 3. If they don't win Game 3, this may be a shorter series than anybody could have imagined after they were able to steal Game 1.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. That was Freddie Coleman from ESPN Radio. I mean, you could certainly turn out to be correct about that. I think through 2 games of the series, and we have no idea if this matters or not. I mean, I just want to say this up front. Through 2 games of the series, I think we know that Oklahoma City is the better team. Don't know that that means that they're going to win the series. But I do believe that they are the better team. Does the better team always win a best-of-7 series? Theoretically, it should. It all depends on how many games you can, steal. Because I think we all agree that the Pacers stole Game 1. And just like they stole Game 1 from the Knicks, they ended up winning Game 2 also. And whereas I know there were a lot of people who thought the Knicks were the better team, I did not. I said before that series started that the Pacers would win that series. But the Knicks blowing that massive late lead in Game 1, they never recovered from that. The Thunder recovered. They won Game 2, and they won it basically in, third gear. So I don't know that Freddie Coleman is necessarily wrong. Pacers have to win tonight. But if Oklahoma City does win, I think it'll be a harbinger that, yep, this is where we're headed. Subsequently, tomorrow night, even though we're not talking about it just yet, Edmonton, you got to win that game. And it isn't so much that you have to win that game. You got to keep your composure. Because I think they lost it. But they probably lost the game earlier, but I think they lost it. And they need to be a little bit, not even keeled, but you can't lose control of your emotions if you are Edmonton, because that is not what you do
No, but that's what the Panthers want them to do.
Right, and Florida is comfortable playing that way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
We are 2 days into Panthers mandatory mini camp. Let's hear from wide receiver Adam Thielen, the KG vet who was on Sirius XM and talked about Bryce Young coming back a better player.
The confidence he came back with, same offense, same kind of play caller, quarterback coach, kind of that coaching staff that's around him, players around him that he has comfort with. You've just seen his maturity in the game of football in the NFL, personally and professionally, grow at such a high level that it makes it really fun to be around.
Now, Thielen had one more year left on his contract, but the Panthers extended him. I think another season, which I am on board for. I suggested they do that. Not that they took my advice, but I thought that would be a good idea because I think Thielen will age well. And while he isn't a tight end, essentially his role actively is that of a possession tight end. And he also thought that the quarterback's the reason he came back.
The way that he handled adversity, the way that he came back, and the way that he kind of took ownership of this is what I need to do to help this team be successful, and I'm going to do it to the fullest of my ability. And for him to go out and do that week in and week out when he kind of came back and just continue to just exponentially grow and help this team that's a big reason why I'm coming back and excited to be here.
All right, more football. Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. A marriage of convenience. I'll say it that way. Certainly wasn't an arranged marriage, but man, it's 3:00, closing time. All right, Aaron Rodgers. Why were the Steelers the right fit?
I think it starts with Mike Tomlin. I've been a fan of his for a long time. There's a few iconic franchises in the NFL. I played for one of them for 18 years. This is another one of those. There's something special about, obviously, this area. So many great quarterbacks are from Pittsburgh. I feel like Pittsburgh has been a part of my career from the beginning. Playing for Mike McCarthy for 13 years, having Tommy Clements, depending on how old you are, as my quarterback coach forever. Don Capers, Kevin Green, Darren Perry, Ben McAdoo, Frank Signetti, Luke Getsy. I don't want to forget anybody, but a lot of Yinzers in my life.
Aaron Rodgers playing just...
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Big
Red
time.
meat.
Big time.
Red meat to the Steelers media. That is just fantastic. What a smart dude. Look, Aaron Rodgers is nothing if not savvy. Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh's head coach. He was already shouted out there by Rodgers. What does Rodgers bring to your team?
Read his resume. We're excited about him being here. He's excited about being here. But we'll make no bold predictions. We're just going to roll our sleeves up and go to work and let our efforts do the talking.
I love Mike Tomlin so much. Just makes it so simple, right? Look at his resume. Unfortunately, the resume doesn't play, but Aaron Rodgers does have a great resume. Multiple MVPs, including 2 not that long ago. So we know there's something there. My own observation from watching him last year was that Rodgers was at times vintage and at times old. Those two things might in some ways mean the same thing, but they don't.
Very different.
So I think there are going to be moments just like there were last year where you go, man, that's the old Aaron Rodgers. That's what we're talking about. And then you're going to go, that was a bad throw.
Yeah. Well, see, it's like a wine analogy. Some wine gets better with age.
Yes.
Some does not. Box wine.
Box wine, not better with age.
No.
Right. I'm not even going to denigrate like if you screw the cap off of wine, because they are good wines actually now.
Yeah.
Where you don't have a cork, where you just.
It's very convenient.
Yes, very good. All right, let's get to the NBA Finals tonight. Because to me, Oklahoma City, I don't know how much of it was their defense and how much of it was Indiana just not being very good offensively. But Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers talked about OKC on the other end.
What this defense does so well is they're in to out at such a high level. So every time you're driving, it feels like there's more bodies than there really is, right? Like Caruso, Dub, Chet, Dort, Jason Wallace, like all those guys are so good at being in to out, being in two spots at once. They're all elite defenders. So, when I'm driving, I think even the slightest second of hesitation gives my defender time to get back in front of me and this defender time to get back out to the gap. So it feels like they're in more spots than they really are at times. Yeah. And they really are, probably the best defense I've ever seen, in my career. But I still think I can do a much better job of, executing the game plan, getting downhill. When you get downhill, they really swarm. They really come after you. Yeah. So I think that led to high turnover numbers for me in game 2. And, we had a lot of turnovers obviously in game 1. So, when you're getting to the paint, you got to use that to your advantage if they're all going to swarm, trying to make the right play.
For the head coach, Thunder head coach, Mark Daigneault, he credits one guy for the defense on Halliburton.
He just is, he's such a complete defender. He's got a great physical profile, athletic profile. He moves great laterally. He's a relentless competitor. And really, his start as a defender started there. It was kind of the physical profile married to his mindset as a competitor. And now he's studied the league and played, a lot of different players over a long period of time. And so his mental has gotten so good, these last couple of years that he understands the tendencies of the opponent. And he really takes a lot of pride in getting those things right. So we understand how good of a player Halliburton is. We understand how good of an offense Indiana is. We got to really stay ahead of it if we want to continue to evolve in the series. But obviously, Lou's a huge part of what we do.
All right, so we have Game 3 tonight. Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals is tomorrow. Round 1 of the U.S. Open is also tomorrow, 6:45 a.m. Rory McIlroy tees off at 7:40. We'll talk to Gary Williams, 5 Clubs Golf Channel, Sirius XM, next.
From the heels,
touchdown, Carolina,
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Every offseason, I tell myself, don't fall for it. Don't get excited by mini camp highlights. And then you see one grainy clip from the sideline of Bryce Young throwing a deep ball to Teteroa McMillan, and I fall for the trap every time. Teteroa McMillan, Rookie of the Year, 10 touchdowns, book it.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
I know we're only halfway through the week, but maybe you're already thinking about taking the bike out for Father's Day this weekend. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for Law Tigers, and the weather may not be the clearest this weekend depending on where you'll be, so it'll be extra important to remember things like adjusting your speed by slowing down in case you do get caught in the rain. And if it looks like there's going to be a good chance of it, wear bright colors so you are as visible as possible to others. These are all things you could do to help prevent an accident, but sometimes that's just not enough, and motorcycle wrecks happen that weren't your fault. But in the case that it does, make sure to always call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they get it. They know the value of your bike, your gear, the investment that you've made, the precautions that you've made, and what it's like to go through an accident. Case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Triple play, triple play, triple play. 3 ways to win on every scratch-off. They're like a 3-man wrecking crew of winning potential smashing into your bare hands. Triple threats of cold, hard cash. Prizes up to $1 million. 3 times the play, 3 times the thrills, and 3 ways to win. Triple play from the North Carolina Education Lottery with triple action-packed chances to win.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.84 to 4.79. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Are you in charge of running the building maintenance plays at your workplace? If you're facing roofing issues, you gotta get RoofWorks into the game. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. You can count on us to be your MVP when it comes to taking care of your commercial building roof. We handle leaky roof repair, coatings, total replacements, upfits, and we even do commercial gutters. Let us show you what a valuable addition we are to your building maintenance team. Contact us today online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is Adam Gold.
I did love that Rod video with him, though, when he was trying to communicate.
Yeah, you speak hockey.
And he was like, it's okay, you don't need to know this, you know hockey. And I was like, oh, heartstrings. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. 6:45 a.m. tomorrow morning. The U.S. Open begins at Oakmont. They have played more majors, more U.S. Opens at Oakmont than any other track. And it seems, for the most part, only heavyweights get it done. Dustin Johnson in 16. Angel Cabrera, portly, but I wouldn't call him a heavyweight. But Tiger Woods was right there. I think Jim Furyk was in that mix, maybe. Bubba Watson, a young Bubba Watson prior to winning the Masters. But Jack, Larry Nelson outdueled Tom Watson there in 1983. Gary Williams, who is the executive producer and host at 5 Clubs Golf. You can watch him on Golf Channel. You can watch him on YouTube. You can hear him on Sirius XM. He joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Does this track bring out heavyweights more than most U.S. Open venues?
Most certainly. I mean, you have to look at one guy in the history of all the major championships that have been contested there. There wasn't a multi-time major winner when their career was over, as Sam Park in 1935. Yeah. I mean, you can go back to Jones in 25 when he won the U.S. Amateur there. Sarazen and Snead won PGAs there. Hogan won the U.S. Open there in 53, which you could argue is maybe one of the 3 greatest seasons in the history of professional golf. The grown-ups win majors at Oakmont.
Gary Williams is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Well, the grown-ups who decide such matters have decided that Scottie Scheffler is a runaway choice to win. The betting market is ridiculous at plus 280 the last I saw. That is Tiger territory, is it not?
Very much so. It is. And what's interesting, Adam, to me is that Scotty Scheffler, he's getting all this public money primarily on the fact that he's so productive. Tiger got public money because, one, he was productive, but two, he was such a public commodity. Scheffler doesn't have that yet. So what this also, I think, reflects is that sharp money like Scheffler, and that's dangerous. And I like him too. I think he's winning.
I mean, everybody, I was looking at ESPN's, I don't know how many experts they've got, but all but 3 picked Scheffler to win, and the others chose Jon Rahm, and Rahm certainly closed the PGA well, and maybe we will see, another step forward. Maybe that's all Jon Rahm needed, because it had been a while since he had really contendered in a major. Do you get that sense that maybe Rahm is ready to break back through?
I do. I not only sat in on his presser yesterday, but also interviewed him for U.S. Open Radio on SiriusXM right after that. And I felt the entire 2024 year was weird for him. I thought he was defensive in his defense at Augusta National. He didn't even play in the U.S. Open because of the odd foot situation.
Right.
He kind of got an infection there. It was almost like a lost major championship season for him. I think being in the deep end of the pool, as you alluded to at Quail Hollow, he talked about it. He talked about the fact that it didn't feel foreign to him. He wasn't that far removed from obviously being in contention in majors. Yeah, I think this place, he will respond to this place. He loves golf history. I asked him about his favorite chapters. He pointed to 83 because Seve really had a legit chance. It was Seve, Watson, and Larry Nelson. It wound up being Larry Nelson who won it. So yeah, I think Rahm's in the mix. Yeah, that was an incredible U.S. Open. I grew up a Tom Watson fan. There was a great run. 82 he wins it. 83 comes very close. I still don't like Scott Simpson because of 87 at Olympic Club, but that's another matter. I've met Scott Simpson. He's a wonderful guy, a tremendous guy. But when you grow up and I get it,
right? But one guy is your guy. It's kind of hard to get over. The bettors, just to use them as a gauge, because I don't think they're alone here, have essentially treated Rory McIlroy as a bit of an afterthought. Not that tied for third choice with Jon Rahm in the betting market is an afterthought, but when was the last time Rory wasn't the second choice?
Been a little while for sure, and I think that they're onto it. They're onto the fact that it's not just results; it's also, kind of state of mind. And I thought I liked him here, but I also know that. When you ascend to the summit of Everest for the first time in a decade and you do it without an oxygen tank, it may be a while before you can go back to base camp and try to do it again. Seriously, I mean, I think you would agree that that just the gravity of all of what Augusta National was and the manner in which it was done, it was going to be a very hard ask to go, let me get back on that Bronco, ride it again, and do all the prep that's required of me to do that. So, look, his record in the U.S. Open since missing the cut in 3 consecutive years, including here in 2016, Guy, I asked him the question yesterday, why? Why have you evolved to becoming an excellent U.S. Open player? And he said it was a combination of his ego, because he didn't like the fact that they said, well, he won his U.S. Open in soft conditions, and the fact that he has embraced this championship as being arguably his most favorite because it is the most demanding. I walked with him this morning when he played 9 holes with Shane Lowry and Lucas Glover. He hit a lot of good shots. I take that in a modest way in terms of what that reinforces. I expect him to make the cut. I expect him, because he's still, the second best player in the world, to be around on the weekend. I don't know. I just think that the sharpening of the instrument has not been, he admitted it, where it was prior to doing what he did at Augusta National. So I think he's rightfully where he is in terms of the betting market.
Gary Williams, 5 Clubs Golf, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show at Gary Williams 1UP on Twitter. I mean, obviously he has to drive the ball well. If he drives it well, I do think he'll be okay, but he hasn't driven it well. I know he's having not quite Bryson DeChambeau battles with his driver because I don't think he has broken drivers on the range. But do we know what driver he's using? Does he even like it?
He's using a TaylorMade Q10 driver. I know he was kind of cute and evasive when he was asked about it yesterday. They asked him what kind of driver he's using. He said TaylorMade. If he said anything other than that, that would have been a hell of a story.
Right.
And then the follow was, which one? And he said, well, I'll be hitting balls on the range after this. You can come down. You can't get that close to see. Anyway, yeah, I mean, look, I saw him hit some good drives today. But, again, this is Wednesday morning. When the gun goes off tomorrow and trust and all that stuff that is required, he wasn't driving it great at the Truist, which was the final start before the PGA. But the truth is, his gamer that he won the Masters with, it's out of the lineup. So I do think that he is so well rounded, but this rough is, Adam, this is big boy stuff. I mean, this was topped off at 4.5 inches on Monday. They're not cutting it again. Walking today, it already feels like it needs a haircut. It's like, the 14-year-old kid in the 70s that had that, that mop head of hair, and you're like, you need to get a haircut every week. Not topping it off. This is legit. And the thing that I find most interesting, where I think that Scheffler's, one of his great strengths gets not negated, but I think is neutralized to some degree. He's as good a scrambler as anybody. This is a lot of hacking around greens. They don't have a lot of mowed down areas where you have options where he's so efficient. So I think that's another part of the equation when you start to look at, maybe not fluky guys who you think can be in the mix, but guys that you go, I didn't see that coming. That is what you're going to get. A couple guys who are going to be in contention that were not, even 25-1. They're going to be 50-1, 75-1, because they drive it really well and they're going to make a lot of pars.
Yeah. Do you think the winning score will be under or over par?
If it doesn't rain, it'll be over par. If they get rain and the golf course is softened, length is immaterial to these guys. Moisture matters.
Yeah.
If there's moisture, then I think it changes the final result. Like if it doesn't rain between now and Sunday, I think it could be 5-6 over. If it rains, I think it's level par.
5 or 6 over. Is Hale Irwin going to win? Although that was
I think he could win at 79 if you brought him out here. The way that he is, he'd go, I could fashion 6 over.
7 over when he won at Wingfoot in like the 70s.
That is correct, sir. Yep. Look at you nerding out.
Oh,
I love it.
I'm a complete geek when it comes to the majors. Gary Williams. All right, before I let you go, give me somebody who is a long shot that you like their chances, because it does seem to be a fairways and greens type of an event.
I'll give you a couple. And I might have done this. I feel like I did, and I'm going to do it again. I liked Harris English at Quail Hollow. I like him again. Harris English is a great putter. And it's not about making 35 footers. It's about making 10 footers with 1.5 to 2 feet of break. He's a great putter, and he won at Torrey Pines, which is a golf course that is beefy it doesn't have 5-inch rough, but it has legit rough, which you don't see much of on the PGA Tour. I also like Bud Colley. Bud is somebody who's having the kind of year that, is not only have I found my footing finally on the PGA Tour, I think he'd have a liberating type of year. Would not be a bit surprised if he's hanging around in the top 12 to 15. I like him. I also think that Shane Lowry, he had the 54 lead in 2016.
He did.
Shane Lowry is a exemplary chipper and putter of the golf ball, and that means being efficient. There's a lot of false fronts here. You're going to have a lot of, the approaches here where you're going to be pitching. And again, the value of par is legit. I think Shane Lowry, who's not a super long shot, I think he's another guy. And then let me add Ben Griffin. Look, Ben Griffin is not just having like a run. Ben Griffin has elevated himself. And if Ben Griffin has a top 10 week, he puts himself firmly in the right there when it comes to Keegan Bradley in the Ryder Cup. The kid from Chapel Hill Country Club.
Unbelievable. He was selling insurance 4 years ago, right?
He was a loan officer, and I think life is better with those aviators, making already like $7 million. It's not even Father's Day on the PGA Tour.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Life is good. Life is good for Gary Williams. 5 Clubs Golf at Gary Williams 1UP on Twitter. I thank you very much for your time, sir. I will talk to you very soon.
I look forward to it. Thank you, my friend.
You got it. Gary Williams here on the Adam Gold Show. Like Ben Griffin was out of the sport 4 years ago. Not playing. Just going to go to work, make some money, be a dad. And now he's, I don't even know what the world rankings say, but well inside the top 50 in the world. All right, when we come back, a couple of other things, including something disturbing that happened last night, and then we'll dive back into the U.S. Open with a betting primer for you with our friend Jason Sobel of, too many places to mention all of them, but he is a brand ambassador for MGM. So we'll talk golf wagers next.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The NBA Finals are underway, and FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props. And now you can do everything right within the app with new performance trends, especially if it's after tip-off, because FanDuel is the place for live betting of the NBA Finals. New customers, $200 in bonus bets to you if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. Join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Why choose a family physician? Because they provide healthcare expertise for the entire family, care for acute and chronic disease, treat all ages, and most importantly, keep you healthy. In fact, adults with a family physician have lower health care costs, better health outcomes, and are hospitalized less frequently. Family Physicians, your trusted health care advisor for you and your family for life. Brought to you by the NC Academy of Family Physicians.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're talking about a major collaboration that's making waves in Iredell County. Kim Holland, Development Coordinator for the Iredell Health Foundation, tells us about Whole 3.
The goal of the collaborative is about addressing the complex and interwoven challenges that many families in Iredell County face. And, things like poverty, lack of access to health care, and educational disparities. So it's designed as truly a collaborative. It's community-led initiative. We're bringing together schools, nonprofits, health systems, and families to build a system that actually works for families, not just around them.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Healthcare?
Why is it so hard?
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Really?
Really. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting all your benefits, prescriptions, and details on your computer and phone. Convinced?
No, but it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross, North Carolina. Making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia, Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. Jason Sobel, MGM Sports, will join us in just a few minutes. Brian Wilson.
Yeah, Brian Wilson.
82 years old, passed away, lead singer of the Beach Boys.
Creative genius, too, of it.
Hard to argue, right? So R.I.P. Brian Wilson. And this sound will live forever, no doubt about that. All right, before we get to Jason Sobel, we're going to do that in just a couple of minutes here. He is going to join us. We'll talk a little bit about, a lot about golf wagering. Last night in Nashville, the men's national soccer team, I don't know what that was. It was horrendous. They lost to Switzerland 4-0. It was 4-0. They hadn't even played 36 minutes yet. It was a total capitulation. But the overreacting to this is mind-blowing to me. You know how a lot of the betting sites have their own Twitter, right? They tweet out, and I think it was FanDuel. Should they fire Mauricio Pochettino? He's lost 4 in a row. They just lost to Turkey over the weekend. They lost to Switzerland. By the way, these are two pretty good international sides that the United States lost to, and the U.S. doesn't have anything close to what their actual first team is. In fact, last night, only Matt Turner, to me, was a candidate, a real candidate, to be a first 11 player when the U.S. plays in the World Cup next summer. And frankly, Matt, that's a bigger problem for me. My takeaway was, how is Matt Turner still the best American goalkeeper? The sell-by date well passed for Matt Turner. But here's the thing. It's alarming that that they've lost 4 in a row. It's alarming that they completely rolled over last night for Switzerland. And I do think that there are some concerns. Chief among them is the fact that Matt Turner is still the first-choice goalkeeper. But I think that we have overstated this golden era of U.S. player because we do have a lot of Americans playing high-level football in Europe for big clubs. By the way, Yunus Musa was just sold from, I think it was AC Milan to Napoli, one of the biggest clubs in the Serie A. Pulisic is the best player for AC Milan. You've got Tim Weah playing in the Italian league. Florian Balogun is playing in the French league. Top Americans are playing in big situations. They're playing Champions League football. So we have a lot of really good players overseas. But here's this for me. None of those players, with the exception of Pulisic, maybe Tyler Adams, who plays in Bournemouth, maybe Weston McKennie, Anthony Robinson. There aren't a lot of difference makers. And I believe for what I look at, I think there are 6 players who I believe are going to be starters when the U.S. plays their first World Cup game. Pulisic, Adams, McKennie, Serginho Dest, who needs to get healthy, Anthony Robinson, and Chris Richards. That's 6 of 10 field players. They got to get better at every other position. And frankly, they got to get better at those 2. They need somebody to push them. Part of the reason why I have some of these guys in is because I don't believe there's anybody to push any of them to be better in this system. Just my 2 cents on the men's national team, but I ain't looking at yesterday as a tragedy other than you lost 4-0, and it was over in a hurry. Jason Sobel is joining us from Oakmont as we get ready for the U.S. Open, where the last time it was there, Dustin Johnson, one of very few players under par to win, even in spite of some shenanigans, not by him, but by the USGA, on, like, what was that, the 14th hole, or the 12th hole, one of those two. Jason Sobel from The Athletic, from SiriusXM, from CBS, from MGM. He is everywhere. All right, let's get a betting primer, sir, since this is your niche now. Scottie Scheffler is better than 3-1 to win the Open. These are Tiger Woods numbers, plus 280 right now at FanDuel. What say you about that?
Well, hello, Adam. Happy U.S. Open week. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you getting all my various jobs in there. As you said to me before we came out, a lot of paychecks, and I told you they're all very small ones. So good to be on. Scottie Scheffler, a very short number. This is Tiger-like, as you mentioned, in the price this week on Scottie, but it's deserved. Look, I'm not sure if you've been watching lately, but the guy's pretty good. He's won 3 of his last 4. He's lost to exactly 3 players in his last 4 starts, the last month and a half. That's really good golf. He's the best player in the world. This is a course where I think, and this is an old mantra from going back to the 1974 massacre at Wingfoot, where then championship chairman of the USGA, Sandy Tatum, said, we're not looking to humiliate the world's best players. We're looking to identify them. I don't think there's any course that identifies the best players better than Oakmont. It's going to be a brutal test. I don't think it's coming from somewhere outside the top tier. The last 6 majors have been won by Scottie Scheffler and Xander Schauffele, 2 apiece, Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau. I don't see us looking at too many long shots this week. I think it's coming from that group of players. Add John Rahm in there, and that might be the entire pool of players who can win this week, and Scottie is certainly at the top of it. So I like him to win. I don't like the number. I might be waiting a bit longer to see if maybe he shoots an opening round 72, 73, and that number gets up to 5-1, which seems a little more palatable, but still, it's going to be very, very short all week.
Yeah, and of course, if he shoots 68 in the opening round, that number's going to go to like 200, plus 200. Jason Sobel is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I do find it interesting, though, that Rory McIlroy has now slipped down to joint 3rd choice, along with John Rahm, significantly behind Bryson DeChambeau. Before we get into who else you like, does this course favor, more than anything else, somebody who hits fairways? I'm not talking about, accuracy, proximity to the pin. I'm not talking about greens. I am talking simply fairways. Is that the number one stat you think this week?
So, Adam, I think this course, Oakmont, is the greatest catch-22 in all of golf. And what I mean by that is you listen to the players one by one. The best players in the world have sat down in the interview room this week and said, you have to keep your ball in the fairway. It's absolutely paramount to keep it in the fairway. So I spoke with Xander Schauffele the other day. I countered him on that, and I said, well, I guess that means you'll leave driver in the bag and you'll hit something just to keep it in the fairway, right? And he said, no, I'm hitting driver pretty much everywhere. And I said, well, what's the strategy? Take me through it. He said, well, I don't always hit driver outside of the fairway. I'd like to think I could hit driver in the fairway, and lobbing straight is better than everything else. I mean, quite honestly, first of all, this feeds into the players' egos, because you can tell a player, hit a driving iron or a hybrid or something of that effect into the fairway, and you might have a long iron in, but at least you'll be in the short stuff. These guys all think they can hit it long and straight every time, which, look, if you're one of the best players in the world, you should have that kind of confidence. But it's also representative of the major shift that we've seen at the U.S. Open in the last decade. This used to be the domain of the plotters, Corey Pavin, Lee Janzen, Jim Furyk. Essentially, fairways, greens, make fewer mistakes than everybody else, and they give you a trophy at the end of the week. Over the last 10 years, who's won the U.S. Open? It's been Bryson twice, Brooks Koepka twice, Gary Woodland, Wyndham Clark, John Rahm. These guys all look more like athletes than golfers. These are big, strong, brawny dudes. I can make the case that Bryson DeChambeau right now is the quintessential U.S. Open player, because he goes out there and competes in this tournament year in, year out with 2 wins now, even though nothing else inside the top 10. But his brand of golf is what wins U.S. Opens. And so that's been a monumental change. The players know that. All of them either work with statisticians or have people that are giving them sort of hints and clues as to what might help them on the golf course. And what we've found over the last 10 years is that hit it long, go find it again, hit it again at a U.S. Open works a whole lot better than just plinking it down the fairway.
Very good point. Bryson won at Winged Foot, basically just hit and gouge. But I even heard Bryson say that he didn't think that would work. These guys are good enough with the driver. You've got the top 2 players in the world, even though Rory's not on form right now. Top 2 players in the world are 1 and 2 in strokes gained off the tee. For McIlroy, that's probably a lot more about the distance. But Scheffler combines both, and he is by far the best right now, the best off the tee in the world. Let me ask you quickly about Rory before we go and get some bets. Actually, before I get to Rory, we're going to see this week, I'm pretty sure, the 17th, a par 4, play shorter than the 8th, a par 3, correct?
Correct.
That's so funny.
I love it. So, Adam, we've seen this over the years from the USGA, and what I love about it is you would not believe how this gets into the head of players. Sure. We're going to have a par 3.5. We're going to have a par 4.5 at times. And the players are like, well, what am I supposed to do here? Am I supposed to make a 4 or supposed to make a 5? And, my answer is always, well, you're supposed to play it in the fewest amount of strokes possible. And I wouldn't have imagined, before I started talking to players years ago about these USGA-type holes that really aren't, kind of a usual par 3, par 4, par 5, I wouldn't have thought that would, mess with their minds too much. You just go out there and play the hole to the best of your ability. But these guys, by and large, I'm not going to say every single one of them, but by and large, the majority just get so thrown off. The mental gymnastics they have to play to figure out what they're supposed to do on a certain hole just because they call it a par 3 or a par 4. It's pretty amusing to me, quite honestly. Right. And, whether you hit driver on a par 3 or you hit an iron on a par 4, doesn't really matter. However you want to strategize your way around that hole and get the ball into the cup in as few strokes as possible is going to work. So we'll see which guys can handle that and which guys can't.
And that really is, Jason Sobel is joining us here from The Athletic and CBS and Sirius XM and MGM. But that really is the way the USGA plays with your mind, is that they'll take a par 5, make it into a par 4, and everybody's mad because of score in relation to par, when who cares what the score in relation to par is? It's total strokes. But that's what they do. They do that intentionally. All right, let's get to Rory's confidence level off the tee. New driver, doesn't like it. I don't know why he can't use the one he used at Augusta or the one he used at the Players' Championship, but whatever. Where is he?
Well, he's back to the QI-10. I'm not a big equipment guru, but it's the one he was using last year. Not the exact same one, but the same model that he had last year. I don't know. Sounds like he's somewhat confident. I'm not confident in him being confident, but I spoke with Brad Faxon yesterday on PGA Tour Radio, U.S. Open Radio this week, and Fax was out there watching Rory as we were speaking and said he had made 4 birdies on the first 9, and he was playing well. Rory told us he came here last week before the RBC Canadian Open, shot 81 with birdies on the last 2 holes. So I'm not sure which Rory's going to show up this week. I probably have less confidence in Rory than I do in any other top 5 player, and I don't mean the top 5 on the world ranking. I mean the top 5 on the odds board this week, which really reflects who the best players are. Obviously, like Scotty. I think everybody likes Scotty this week. It's hard not to like the best player in the world. I really like Jon Rahm. I think if it's not Scotty, that Rahm can go out there and win another U.S. Open title. Hard not to like the defending champ in Bryce DeChambeau. I'm getting talked into Xander Schauffele a little bit, who has a great U.S. Open record. Rory's U.S. Open record is great in itself as well. 6 straight top 10 finishes at a place where whenever he was asked about the career slam before he won at Augusta this year, he would always answer with, I'm really glad I got a U.S. Open early because that's the toughest one for me. I think that Rory has shown over the last handful of years not only that he can play a U.S. Open, but that the U.S. Open has changed. This is not the same U.S. Open that he grew up watching, and I think it plays more into his hands and the hands of the other big hitters. That said, he missed a cut in Canada last week when it wasn't a great field and should have been a course that suited his game. So I'm not totally sure what to expect. Feels like there's a lot swirling around Rory McIlroy right now, and that's never good when you're trying to win a major.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people did a lot of people expect him to win Augusta? Maybe it was just about Augusta. All right, let's get into the picks. I mean, you already kind of hinted you like Scotty to win, if not Scotty, Jon Rahm. Give me your winner, top 5, top 10, top 20. If you have some value picks. I'm eyeing Taylor Pendrith here. I don't know why.
Okay. I don't mind that. Big hitter. Usually plays well. He's fairly predictive. He plays well on courses that are long golf courses that sort of suit his game. I will go with Scotty as my winner. Look, sure. I know how chalky that is, and I know that everyone's doing the same thing. I don't necessarily like in that market, and what I can tell the people out there, and I know a lot of people will be jumping in for one of the first times to bet some golf, there's a without Scotty Scheffler market that I highly recommend. If you want to avoid the world's best player, just cross him off the list. You can, and you can just bet the other guys. You can avoid Scotty, Rahm, Bryson, and Rory, and just start your picks with Xander Schauffele and below if you would like to do that as well. So there are a lot of options on the board. Yes, Scotty is my favorite to win. I don't know that it's going to be an outright play for me. It's just too short. So I'm going to have some fun in some other markets. Jon Rahm I really like as well. Top 5s and the without Scotty market. He might even be in the with Scotty market as well. I might take a little Jon Rahm there. As far as top 10, top 20 type plays, I think Keegan Bradley, the U.S. Ryder Cup captain, I think it's been a big benefit for him to be the captain of the team this year and not have all of his focus just on his performance, that he's got another outlet to think about, and it's the result is that he's played very good golf all year. Maverick McNeely is a very analytical player. This is a thinking man's golf course. I think he will match up well to this golf course, and I think he'll play some good golf. Then the usual floor plays. Look, Patrick Cantlay hasn't won in 3 years.
Yep.
Tommy Fleetwood has won 0 events on the PGA Tour. That said, they usually show up. They haven't shown up in the first 2 majors this year, but law of averages states a big floor play is coming for each of those guys. They've had top 5 finishes at the U.S. Open in the past. If you want to go really deep, top 40s, Cameron Young. A few weeks ago, I didn't think I'd be saying that name, but he's playing some good golf. It's a golf course that should suit him. I like him. How about Thomas Dietrich? And I do like your Taylor Pendrith play for, you said top 20. I'll go top 40. We'd split the difference, maybe call it top 30.
Okay, top 30 would be nice. By the way, Cameron Young made, because we were paying particularly close attention to the Columbus qualifier, Cameron Young won a 5-for-1 playoff with a birdie on the first playoff hole, knocking out the likes of Ricky Fowler and Max Homa, who were also in that as well. So there you go. That's Jason Sobel. That he is the man. I appreciate your time, sir. Are we all off Ludwig Oberg at this point?
No. I mean, look, this could be a Ludwig week. I like him as much as I like anybody moving forward. It's not necessarily in the short term, but long term, I'm a massive Ludwig fan. And look, I will say this much, Adam. You know, in betting, when everyone zigs, you've got to zag. Everyone's zigging towards Scotty this week. Go find a place to zag.
All right, final thing. Jordan Spieth, Cameron Smith, players like this who are too crooked probably, those are no plays for you?
I love Jordan Spieth for a first-round leader play. What I like in first-round leader plays where you're getting paid out on Thursday or not is the volatility. There's no player in the professional game who's more volatile than Jordan Spieth. He could shoot 80 in the first round, but he also could shoot 66 and cash those bets for you. So I do like Jordan. Not sure he's ready to keep it going for 4 full days, but I think there's at least one day where Jordan has the best score of the day. If it's Thursday, you cash those bets.
There you go. Jason Sobel. You're the best, my man. I appreciate your time. Enjoy Oakmont, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
By the way, Jordan Spieth is plus 5,500.
Wow.
First-round lead. Maverick McNeely, I think, came up in our conversation as well. Plus 7,000.
Oh, wow.
For a first-round leader. So there's a lot of good value. And if you can get the guy to be a first-round leader, you don't need the winner.
Right.
You don't have to deal with that pressure.
Just the first round.
First round. A lot of value in that. All right, tomorrow, a lot of good stuff coming out of Panthers mandatory minicamp. Darren Gant's going to join us on the show tomorrow. Apparently, Bryce Young was elected to the Hall of Fame today. I'm not trying to be, flippant about it. He apparently had a great day on the practice field. So, in 15 seconds, let's remember where everybody was on Bryce through year one. He sucks. He's no good. Won't be as good as C.J. Stroud. And I said, we got to wait. It takes a while. He might just be really good. But we'll talk to Darren Gant tomorrow about it. Victoria, thank you. Bye.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at X Golf and Cary with a great idea for Father's Day. Send him, maybe with a few guys from the cul-de-sac, over to X Golf and enjoy a couple of hours in the best golf simulator in North Carolina. And because you know me, I'm going to double your hour. Buy 1 hour, I'll hook you up for a second hour. Just mention Gold and enjoy. The bar menu's fantastic, the bar too, and Dad can watch the golf tournament on their big screens while he's playing places like the